on time. So you know what that means. If you complained about time, I'm coming for them cheeks.
I don't see it.
For everybody else that came from the on-call episode, a shout-out to producer Juan for cranking that out for us. It did take him he was, let's say, on CPT time for releasing it. But it was a good episode. I got to watch it along with the rest of our Patreon people and YouTube people, so that was a good time. I didn't bring up the scorecard. Stand by. I got to bring my scorecard up. You guys get to see my Thought Police screensaver. Not that one. Scorecard. There it is. Okay. So just as always, I give my hellos. As long as you're seeing the scorecard, I'm still giving hellos to everybody that's here actually live because it's for them. This goes by a lot smoother because I do have to tank all of these videos. But a big special shout out to, before anybody, the Vigilantes. No, not shit out. The shout out to the Vigilantes for digging through all of these things. That is a lot of work to sift through. You guys are seeing probably like a 10 to 1.
God bless them, because I used to do this, and it was horrible.
It's like a 10 to 1 ratio on what actually makes it versus what's suggested. And there's reasons for terms of service and all that other kind of stuff, and we can go live with. But shout out to them. They're doing the work that I don't have to. So thank them for their service. Who was it that was first? It's Wild Bill Spolkoke.
It's not me.
That's wild. So here. Nope,
not me.
Wild Bill.
If that was me, I'd be cheating.
You would be. I'm assuming that's Sarah. No, I guess it could be Sarah.
I don't think that's Sarah.
Oh, it might not be Sarah. I don't know who it is. They put a little like mask on your face, though, which kind of cracks me.
Yeah.
I feel like you've made more like profile pictures than I have. You're the famous one here.
Well, my face is easier to manipulate because I don't have any hair up top.
I'm getting there. I'm just going from the opposite direction of most. Oh, dude. Anyways, I'll give a hello to everybody that is here, and then we will get started with it. For the uninitiated, this is OnlyCops. Every single Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. We do live streams where we cover either law enforcement specific stories, related stories, or on Thursday, and then some today. We'll also do body cam breakdowns of real law enforcement encounters. We're applying our law enforcement experience as long as the centuries worth of experience that exist within the chat.
Keith.
Well, Keith makes it millennia, so.
Millennial said it's easier to AI me. I guess. I have an easily AI-able face.
What is it? Studio Ghibli, like, filter. I've been seeing those all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Even Juan got it on that. So,
Sam just called you out.
For what?
Said he's still waiting for his birthday pictures.
Oh, whoa. I guess I sent them to the wrong Sam. Bro, somebody got a very ill-advised picture in their DM. About to take a picture of me from the waist down here. I got nothing but some blue undies on here. Got off the row machine and...
Probably dark blue because they're sweaty.
I was going to say, yeah. It's an old seat, so it's used to it. Wild Bill... Put a quarter on the Phoner booth. Phoner has changed his name. Brave Django, RJ, Lemon. It's Lemonade. 513.
Roswell, I have no idea what's wrong with me. I'm congested every day in this godforsaken shithole that I'm in right now.
Yeah, so. Area 51 be like that, yo. Jordan.
I'm so ready to get out of here.
It's good to see you. Peacekeeper Chris, caffeinated. RHYS. Rise Hamilton. I'm going to say that's what it is. Millennial de la Policia. Welcome, brother. Garrett. Lima 32.
If they're Josh's undies, it's a thick blue line.
It is a thick blue line. I am on the threshold of big and tall, and not for being tall. Kimini, it's good to see you. Cosmic Dark Matter, Unsavory Salmonella, which Gross. Is a sussy name. Oshkosh Bajosh. It's good to see you, Christy.
Nice.
Here it is. Sir Billiam Spullington the Great is Sarah.
Yeah, I like that one.
That was pretty good. Not El Pete, Robert Carson. Producer Juan's here in spirit. I think he'll be here.
It still makes me laugh, like how the word spool just shut Sarah down.
Oh, dude. When it's like, it can be both like an adjective, a noun, I think, and a verb. Spool.
Yeah. Spool.
That hit
Hi,
her.
Tyler.
Choose easy to please.
Whoa.
Notorious Ebu
Damn.
said, I didn't get to nap. Just got to hit it up with the Zivias. As well, I don't remember who it was in the Patreon group, but they showed the old Zivia cans. I was like, oh, dog. Those were from back in the day. Zivias that moved to this branding. Oh, was it Phoner? Dog. My brother.
I could be wrong.
I had my electrolytes, so now I get to have my caffeine.
Attaboy.
Buxom, you are already on it today.
Did he super chat?
Hold
earlier?
on. I saw
I feel like he did.
a WAP today. I got to be careful with that.
Whoa.
Poor patrolman. Sorry,
Whoa.
patrol person was stuck in the rain. That is a wet-ass patrol person.
What?
Abs, it's good to see you.
Wet ass policeman.
There it is. Brian Miner.
God.
Ryan.
What's wrong with you?
Roswell. Little Duck. John C. Mighty Dork. Tyler Stevens. Brother, welcome.
The what? The slinging rock?
Studious. Man,
hell
I'm
does
getting
that
pretty
mean?
good. You guys are getting me good at reading here. Seth Reed. RJ. Ooh. Michael being sus.
Spool. 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 There you
Trying
go,
to
sir.
see. Ram, it's good to see you.
Spooling up.
Spooling up.
Like the turbos on my diesel. Spooling up.
Barry Strawspect. That's another one. Sam,
Burry?
Sam,
Is it
who
Burry
I
or
own.
Barry?
Picks to Burry Strawspect.
Burry.
KKFM Buckeye Muse. I feel like that's like one of those things where
Just missing 1K.
yeah. That broke me. Bill's got me spooled up.
I can get you in. I got lifetime membership.
Mom is in the chat. It's good to see you, Mom. Ginger.
Thank you, Ginger.
Good to see chat, Josh, Bill, and the beer.
Hi, Mom.
Ginger. I don't know what he's the other area. He's the Raytheon employee over there.
Bro, his mustache is top
Strong. It is.
Top
It is.
tier. The beard's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that mustache.
It's pretty top tier. I'm trying to see who else we got here. Mark Musso and then Raira. I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you,
Django, I was here for that.
Yeah, complain to me in the chat.
I do remember that. That's the sling and rock you're talking. I got it.
Ooh.
I remember.
Okay, let's see it. Hold on. Poetically correct. There it is.
I'm not reading that. Too dumb for that.
It's like anatomically, but not. That's how I would spell it. And then just spell check would be like, that's incorrect. I feel unread. Hold on. Lawful, awful, widow waffle. That is
Wiffle.
Oh, wiffle.
Wiffle waffle.
Wiffle waffle. I said
You almost had it, dude.
I was close on that. I just
Almost
saw D's where I saw F's. I left it there just for you. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started on the stream. Again, for the uninitiated.
I saw D's
Stick said -5
all
for whiff.
across your face.
This is the scorecard. This is where I take and give points. This is our running total for 2025 so far. My people are not doing great. Chat has got a healthy amount of points. If you guys do get, FYI, don't, a viewer said, don't leave your stuff with public access. Somebody's going to manipulate the numbers here. But I want to whoever outs this person, I'm here for it. That or it's one. But because El Wani is still here.
Isn't that in our drive?
It's somewhere there. What was I gonna say? Y'all need to chill. This is the running total. This is going to be law enforcement specific stuff. Some of the stuff might be violent. Our job here is not to advocate for violence, but to simply try to help educate the public on how to better navigate law enforcement interactions and to hopefully change police culture for the better. Someday, one day. Probably not today.
110 is the like goal, according to the scorecard.
Yes. What is our like goal? Yes, it's 110.
I think we need to up it next week.
We'll up it next week. I'm good with that.
I think 125 next week.
Okay, I'm down.
Chat's been getting it a lot.
They have been getting after the like goal. They do like them points.
So.
Oh, I gotta put
here. It's interesting. It's fun. The people are great. The pay's okay. It's awesome. I love it. Tragedy, trauma, and nicotine, and caffeine, and I kind of hate these people. I'm always tired. What?
That's me.
Well,
I'm the second guy.
What they forgot was that one thick nurse in the ER. That's what they forgot.
The one that retired me.
Sorry. And she won't see it, so she can't get mad. But that broke.
She won't see it. She won't see it. She barely watches the other ones.
Oh my god! So On Call episode 2, it is filmed. You guys can complain at producer Juan a bunch of times in this chat if you'd like that. I will give. I award 5 whole points to media. It was an accurate thing, minus a handful of stuff, but this is one of the least egregious, like Instagram/TikTok videos I've seen. A thick nurse.
I love this video.
I've not seen this. I'm ready.
Police brutality.
When last time police done killed a nigga?
That shit happens a lot.
But
it may not be George Floyd media status, but that shit happens a lot.
Okay, so I often look at those statistics. The police shoot more mentally ill white men than anybody.
I would say that's accurate. Now, conversely, I do believe.
Hang on, just let it play.
I'm with you.
He makes very good points.
White boy mama who done called the police on him because he had to have. So if you look at the statistics, the police on the average shoot more white people than they do black people. I'm a guy that's big on statistics. Police shootings, and I want people to really hear me, homie. Police shootings, killing an unarmed nigga, is the least of our problems in America. It's the least of our problems. They ain't shot now nigga on his way to school. They ain't shot no nigga getting off work. They ain't shot no nigga in a high visibility construction vest. They ain't shot a nigga in no suit. They ain't shot now nigga with his pants pulled up and his shirt tail tucked in. They ain't shot it. No. When I watched the country not have no outrage for Tamir Rice, there was no need for me to speak. There was no need for me to speak on police brutality, because police brutality is small compared to black on black homicide rates. Police brutality is small to the 73% of households that are headed by single women. Police brutality is small compared to only 36% of black children can read on or above their grade level. Police brutality is small when you got over 2 million children in the United States of America who suffer from hunger. Nah, homie, that's the least of our problem.
Why don't you?
Though I do agree the statistics would back up a lot of what he said. Who was the kid? It wasn't Jameer Rice. Was he the kid that was from Dallas? There was a kid, and this was kind of not where the meme necessarily started. There was a Dallas police officer who came home to the wrong apartment, thought it was her apartment, and smoked a guy minding his own business.
Yeah.
That's kind of the one that always kind of came to mind for me on those, where I was like, there's exception to every statistic, right? There's a bell curve for everything, right? I do think that the reason, it's kind of like politics. It's a great example. Police brutality is the easiest system of government to sue over anything. If you could sue the FDA every time they let you eat something that was bad for you, the FDA wouldn't exist. If you could sue, tons of government organizations, right? The FCC, stuff like that. If you felt that you were harmed in some way, shape, or form, if you could sue Tyler Perry every time you thought that he made a mischaracterization or a negative stereotype about your subculture,
or a terrible movie,
right? It'd be a little different. The government's a little different, specifically cities and municipalities. You're big enough to have money, but not big enough to have like federal funding for your like legal defense. So I agree completely that it is blown out of proportion, because I do think it gets more votes. I think it gets more people to have like an emotional, visceral reaction, and this is not new.
It's just another talking point that no one actually looks into.
Something I tried to explain this phenomenon to someone the other day. They were talking about Bonnie and Clyde, that they have. This is up here in North Texas, that they have like a Bonnie and Clyde museum. And I'm like, for what? Got a bunch of bank robbers. I was like, they didn't get taken into custody? Oh, the rat. Why are we memorializing Bonnie and Clyde or romanticizing Bonnie and Clyde, right? Because when Robin Hood, a lot of the depictions of Robin Hood, at least classically speaking, he wasn't off just murking government officials, and he was just taking money from a greedy king and giving it to people, right? And they try to tie the two together, and they're not. They're just simply not. They were stealing money for themselves and killing innocent people in the process. You saw this really common in like the 70s, where they were romanticizing in fact, people like not Marilyn Manson. Who's the other Manson guy? Creepy dude at the cult. Try to kill those people in Hollywood. Charles Manson. There it is. Marilyn Manson's a very different person. But there
still
was
creepy, and
but there was
kind of has a cult following.
There was a odd there. They would romanticize this idea of like the anti-hero, and oftentimes like minimalize kind of the harm that's done from it. There's obviously the stabbing that happened recently in Frisco. There was a whole discussion around that. And that there's like the more politically expedient and unfortunately like exploitative side of it, where I can now do a GoFundMe, raise a bunch of money, whether I spend it correctly or not, make a nonprofit, or as a politician, have a political talking point to get me in office, and I'll never have to move the needle because I was never the solution to the problem to begin with. And I ran on something that was
But you
never
tell
the
everyone
problem.
you are.
Right.
You tell everyone you're the solution. Then you blame the solution on the other side of, or you blame the problem on the other side of the aisle, and you say, vote for me and I'll get your solution. And what do you know? It's 24 years later and there's no solution.
So I think man, we policed in a rather poor area. A rather poor,
a lot of it was poor.
Yeah, a lot of it was poor. There were some parts that weren't, but there was definitely some poverty.
Very
there.
few.
And oftentimes when you're having issues with kids, I chuckle because redneck kids do the exact same thing when they're poor. White redneck kids they just do it around nobody. So there's never really a victim, right? They're over there breaking their legs, doing dumb stuff, burning random stuff in the woods. And so it's not in my personal opinion, it's not a subculture issue. It's the way it's being packaged by politicians and city planners. A lot of people try to make it.
But also,
right.
There's no media or entertainment glorifying redneck kids going out and doing certain things.
Well, and I'm with you on that. And so I think that there is a slightly more sinister part of it. I think in certain subcultures, we talked about this in Hispanic culture, that though there are very small subsets of like is cartel culture, or you want to call it like Chicano culture, that where they have like Southern California is a great example of this, where like the cholo and chola idea exists, but it's generally frowned upon culturally speaking. And it's the same thing within the African American population, that there's a big subset of people that don't like that. The problem is that there is, in a kind of crappy way, a institutionalized funding of the people who do support that subculture. This is happening through record labels. This is happening through a couple of other things. You can see it. It's that's not more of a conspiracy theory. It's just profitable, and that's really where it becomes kind of odd. You can see the exact same thing in cosmetics. We try to make girls either feel really ugly or not pretty enough, right? Regardless of where you fall on the spectrum, so I can go there and sell you something. Go talk to Bill about body dysmorphia. You know what I mean? That's a whole thing. There is a health side to that industry.
It's way worse
where you're at, but you know what I'm
now
saying?
with social media,
right? But there's like definitely a health side of it where you could be doing better with yourself, and you should be doing any incremental improvement should be celebrated. But the institution that wants to make money off of that feeling, that biological need to be self-conscious, promotes something entirely different. And it's at the unfortunately, it's not good for us. It's profitable. Anyways, he's right on a lot of those points. I do think it's a little generalized, but he's not incorrect in any of that.
Accused of allowing imposter
but
police officers
his main point of like, stop focusing on police brutality when police brutality hasn't been a major issue for that community.
Oh, dude,
in a long time.
Yeah,
like you're focusing on that and ignoring like the real problems in your community.
Well, and what's upsetting?
That's why nothing gets solved.
Yeah, what's upsetting about it is the comparison I always make is what has changed about public schools since the 70s,
right?
Versus what has changed about policing since the 70s. What's changed about your state representative since the 70s?
You know what's funny?
You know what I mean? You start doing those kind of comparisons, and it's wild.
I was getting an oil change today, and I was sitting there waiting for it, and this lady came into the waiting room and just randomly started talking to me because, you know, I look so nice and inviting. Like, people just come up and talk to me. It never happens.
You have a nice smile.
But she did. And I found out that she was one of the first female Navajo police officers.
No
we
kidding.
had like a 30-minute conversation. Yeah, dude. Some of the stories she had.
How wild.
And this was back in the 70s. So, like, you want to talk about changes in policing?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I talked about that a lot. There was an older, it's actually one of our former coworkers. I had a good conversation with her about this. She was my geographics detective. It was a great conversation about like the type of environment she got into policing in almost 20 years ago now versus now. It's just very different. Pre 30 by 30 versus post 30 by 30 female officers is a different mixed bag for sure. Same thing for male officers for that matter.
to work in Nashville testified today. It all played out in the second day of a state hearing that could result in the suspension of his company's license, Marcus.
Our thin, blurred line reporting first exposed how the security company Solaren was allowing its civilian
one of their
employees to
interns
wear
feels really
police
good about
uniforms
that one.
and
1,000%. This is stupid.
other identification. Our chief investigator, Jeremy Finley, is live at the hearing in downtown Nashville. Jeremy, the state did not hold back today on their criticisms of Solaren.
Yeah, they did not, Marius. And Jack Bird sat in this courtroom today and had an answer to every one of their questions. He adamantly believes that there are state and federal exemptions that allow his employees, again, who are not state certified police, to wear police identification as long as they have some kind of history with law enforcement. And speaking of history, the state had plenty of questions for Bird about his ties.
I'm not even going to say generally speaking. Across the board speaking, that is not the case. You have to be current certified.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's the weirdest argument I've ever heard in my life. What is 30 by 30? I believe it was everybody wanted 30% of their police force to be women within 30 years. I believe that was the 900 square feet.
Or was it by 2030?
By 2030 or something like that. But that was the idea.
Because listen, we don't need to hire the best. We need to hire specific percentages of certain populations, whether they're good or not. Because that makes things run really, really well.
And to be honest, what upsets me about the program is had they just said, we're going to recruit more heavily for women,
but
not change the
Go
standard.
Get good ones.
And that would have been the case. You would have gone to every single like girls' athletics. It's what they did for the military. You know, when they decided that they needed more female soldiers and whatever, they were like, hey, let's go recruit where I know I'm going to have capable female people. It's what you do for men. Like, you know what I mean? You don't necessarily go to the chess club unless you're doing it for an engineer, right? You don't go and recruit. It's why you're recruiting at the high school.
Also, who wants to be a cop?
Right. And so, like, I think what was stupid is that they put more of an emphasis on trying to make sure they were higher versus trying to put time, money, and energy into saying, well, where are the women that will make good cops, and how do I make myself attractive as an employer to them, right? It would have been a much better way of going about doing it, and you would have done a better service to those female officers going into those environments versus what they ended up doing, where it's what happens with actual officers. There was a podcast that were talking about Derek Chauvin, and of course they're arguing back and forth whether or not what he did was justified or whether they did with his training or whatever. And I was like, the point still stands. And they used to hammer this home with us at our academy. Your behavior is going to reflect on everybody.
Yeah.
So if you're a good cop, cool. You're adding to the what do they call it? The bank, the positive piggy bank, right? In society. He goes, but if you're bad, you're taking it out of all of our account, like from social capital, if you want to call it that. And whether he was right, this, that, or the other, how it was perceived would affect everybody. I got yelled at because of Derek Chauvin because I was a cop in 2020. Anybody else
thrown at us,
literally,
not just yelled at.
Yeah. So it I don't know. I have beef with that idea that the standards should change for anybody, because I think even from a conduct standpoint, the standards are likely too low.
To the embattled Millersville Police Department.
We're here today on several complaints that were filed against your company.
Jack Bird took the stand today after listening to his former employees testify that they weren't state-certified police.
Do you have the power of arrest?
No, sir.
And that the company Solaren allowed them to wear patches reading police.
What did the patch say again?
They said police.
What the hell?
Former Solaren employee Bianca Owens testified even though she was given police identification by Solaren, she refused to wear it.
Did you ever wear the shirt that you were issued that said police on it?
No.
Hell no.
Why not?
Not a police. Mr. Bird, you've heard the testimony from these individuals who worked for you throughout this trial. Is that correct?
I have.
Bird responded to criticism that his company didn't thoroughly verify prior employment before giving Solaren employees police identification.
You did not verify with his agency that he was not a full-time officer before he worked 1,500 hours in a patch that said police.
We verified it was sworn testimony from the individual, and that's what we did.
So they're lazy.
I had pinky promise I was a cop.
This is crazy.
So the reason it's not a stolen valor issue, right? Like, I'm not sitting here upset because there's good officers that died or whatever. The problem in this specific setting is you're showing, imagine, right? You're a contracting company and I'm passing myself off as a bricklayer, right? And I've never touched mortar in my life or brick in my life. I got smooth hands, pale skin. Like, I've never worked outside a day in my life. But you've spent time, money, and energy in building a house. Things framed, you know, everything's kind of going up, looking great. You're starting to work on drywalling. And then you show up, big old pallets full of bricks, and they're like, hey, Josh there said he was a bricklayer. And then I start just randomly throwing bricks together. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to pass inspection.
I'd love to see it.
If I set this thing up wrong, I'm likely killing somebody. A brick wall falls on somebody, you die. Like, that's how much these things weigh. Or at least you're going to the hospital, right? And in this capacity, it's just kind of, and they're very particular about this for a particular reason, is if you have an emergency and you run up to somebody and that patch says police, the state is supposed to certify that anybody wearing that uniform can respond to that emergency, or at least has a base level of skills and training to respond to that emergency or provide you some level of service that a police officer would be able to do. So that's why this is a problem. It has nothing to do with valor. I don't care about any of that. It's just that at least you vetted them to make sure that they had that skill and capability.
Byrd was also asked about Wednesday's bombshell testimony from former Solarian employee Josh Jeter, who was asked about this letter in Solarian's file from former Millersville Police Chief Dustin Carr, stating that Jeter was a reserve officer for the city, thus allowing him to wear police identification.
This is a completely fabricated letter from Millersville Police stating that I was a reserve there and I never was. I was never a reserve there, and I'm not about to perjure myself up here. I couldn't find Millersville on a map.
Byrd testified he found that testimony shocking and that his company now believes this.
We believe from preliminary information, Mr. Jeter has committed fraud.
You believe Mr. Jeter created this form?
I do.
Here's why that's so controversial. Our earlier reporting revealed that Carr resigned from Millersville and came to work for Solarian, and how we also obtained a recorded conversation with Carr when he was still chief, in which he responds to questions that Byrd offered license plate readers in exchange for commission cards for civilian Solarian employees.
I don't hand out commission cards. I don't. You know, and I told him that. I'm adamant against it. But with that being said, you know, there you know, there's some things you got to really consider.
It's unclear if that ever happened, but among the civilians who did get a commission card from Millersville, Byrd himself, the state, asked about that.
Did you ever offer to provide license plate readers or commission cards?
Objective relevance.
But Byrd's attorney objected, and Byrd never answered.
That smirk told me everything I needed to know. Bro, that guy is shady as hell. You know what? We're going to take this from Fish Cops. It's about the same. I'll take that from them. So reserves in every state's a little different, right? I think there's only 3 states in America where reserves have to be fully licensed, just like anybody else would be that's a police officer. In a lot of other states, you're just a volunteer, just like you would be like citizens on patrol or whatever. They go through like a 40-hour class that's like, here's how to get on a radio and not hurt yourself. And you drive around and, I don't know, write tickets or something. You don't pull cars over.
Can they write tickets?
Like meter-made tickets. This is going to be like for parking and stuff. Not for like, not like traffic infraction.
Got it.
So this is going to be like your 18-wheelers parked where it's not supposed to be, stuff like that. City ordinance issues. You might see something similar with like technically a lot of animal services, depending on if it's a county service versus a state one. I've seen some of those where there's like ish sworn. They have like a badge. They don't have a gun. Nothing says police on it. Nothing says sheriff's office, but they're working under the authority of a municipality. So they'll kind of have a look and vibe if they could make some sort of determination, but it's very limited within the scope. It's again, fish and game. Technically, though, they're much closer to police officers because they have arrestable powers and all that kind of stuff.
They technically have more power.
Right. It's just still a very narrow cone of operation that you do. You're never going to see fish and game executing a search warrant for like somebody that's got a
Probably
murder
not.
Or whatever, you know. Maybe in a really
murder,
tiny.
no.
Right. Maybe if you're, I don't know, poaching or something, maybe, but.
Yeah, they're I mean,
but
if they can prove the crime that falls under their purview, right? They can go like take your guns if you're poaching. Like they'd have to prove it. It's a lot to prove, but they could do something like that. But
yeah. Wait, what is a reserve? A reserve is actually literally where the Native American kind of wants it. A reserve officer in most of these instances would be part-time and volunteer for the most part. The Texas.
Did you just try to say that was a reservation?
Yeah, the res dog.
That's not reserve. It's
I know.
A reservation.
I'm teasing. The res.
I live on one now, so okay.
The res.
Yeah.
Bill
it's
is
called
the res.
Live on the res.
But yeah, they have specific portions of land set across because we did stuff to Native Americans that was, let's just say, not nice.
You guys need any help? Are you sure? We have 4 guys. They're all bodybuilders. We can help you lift.
Yeah, we want to help. We want to help.
We literally can help. And
Can we help?
We can all lift from the back.
Let's just try.
We'll try. We'll help you. We support you guys big time.
So just keep it in, put it in drive, and then go kind of slowly.
And then we'll push it.
And then
from
we'll
the
just
bottom.
we'll see if we can't get pushed enough get enough traction to climb back up.
What can we hold on?
Is there any more of this wood anywhere?
In no universe.
I'm still waiting for the bodybuilders to show up.
But also, in no universe am I allowed that happen, bro. The amount of civil liability.
I'm just kidding. They're fit-ish.
Oh, whoa, where we go?
We could kind of stick right up in there.
If you don't want to do it, it's no. We want to help. We don't get.
He's still gonna help.
Yeah.
That boy's a little big.
Yeah.
Can't you call a tow truck?
Yeah.
Push.
Good for them.
There you go.
Get a big that was sick. Yeah. That was sick. Let's go.
They had me until this.
Hey, officer.
The celebration.
Yeah.
I'll give points to society. I mean, they helped. At least they helped, and actually did help. It wasn't like just a big fail.
They don't even use their own testosterone.
Damn.
Their own testosterone got shut down when they were 19 and they started taking gear.
No kidding.
Oh, this video pissed me off.
I have not seen this. Who's this? Orlando? Is that who's this? Who's this? Oh, Park Police.
San Antonio, isn't it?
Oh, this does look like the Riverwalk.
It looks like the Riverwalk.
Oh no.
How you doing?
Good.
I could be wrong, but
Chilling, man, hanging out.
looks like the Riverwalk.
Yeah? You know you can have a speaker down here, right?
What law is that?
Really?
Yeah.
You're welcome to look it up. If I look it up for you, I can write you a citation.
That's fine.
But you can't have a citation. You can't have a.
Are you referring to 21-52?
Oh, I keep hitting space bar.
Do you have a permit for the speaker?
I got permission as far as utilizing the public space.
Is that not an amphitheater? It's like not what that's for. Like, look.
You know the First Amendment.
So you did one of those guys, huh?
You really want to go that route, man?
Well, I just want to let y'all know that this is a public park.
Right. Okay. So you cannot have the speaker.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, dog. Unless
That's
it's
not private property.
I was gonna say it'd have to be some sort of weird city ordinance, and even then, it'd be a citation at best. You're not jailing on.
I just don't know what law that is.
Okay. Like I said,
if you could help me out,
research it for you.
That's fine.
By writing you the ticket.
I go by
You can
21-52.
Go ahead and look it up yourself.
I go by 21-52, which doesn't say we can't have a speaker on the Riverwalk unless there's a law I don't know about. I would love to be educated.
There is one. You don't know.
Yeah, man. If you could educate me, it would be great. But I'm expressing myself out here. I don't have my ID on me, but I can give you my name.
Yeah.
Colby Savage.
Okay, bet.
Like your mama says.
Remember, you wanted to go this route.
No, it's on y'all. Y'all. It's y'all's discretion.
We gave you the option.
Yeah.
It's go this route.
It's your discretion, sir.
Your
But it is his discretion.
What's your last name?
I'm not a San Antonio police officer.
I'm letting you choose.
It is
Yeah.
San Antonio.
What do y'all want from me? I'll give you the name, but
it's
what do you
Riverwalk.
mean choose? I just want to get that going.
Without a permit, you can't have a speaker down here.
What permit would I get?
A permit to use a speaker down here. To amplify
La Vita? Because I just spoke to La Vita, the management there. She said that this is a public space, and if I want to utilize it as a public space. Tracy. Tracy.
I can call her right now.
Sure. Did someone complain, or you are just passing by?
No, I'm passing.
Okay.
Observing the.
Well, in that case, sir, y'all are just passing by, and I want y'all to know I'll work with y'all. I want to work with y'all. If you want to show me what ordinance it is, I would love to be educated, but I go by the law. How y'all doing?
Yeah. I mean, how often do you think we ran into people that were violating like our parks policy? 'Cause we work nights.
Well, so the only thing I would say about that is our parks did close.
Mhm.
They all had a closing time.
Right.
But like if someone was having a party in the park, I could
different.
give two shits less. I don't care.
But,
I am
but
not a city code enforcer.
But what I'm getting at
neither
is
are they.
how many times did we run into somebody that was in violation that like, hey, y'all need to leave. That's simple. I didn't even detain him. I was like, hey, the park says it's closed. I know I'm right about that. That's an actual ordinance violation.
And they never argued.
No. Remember the ghost hunters we found out there?
I forgot about them. They have a YouTube channel, remember? We looked it up.
I wish I remembered what it was. But it made my
they
day.
were all like between 40 and 70 years old.
Living their best life. Bill and I, and they were motivated. They had to walk like 2 miles to get to that like spot.
Because we drove.
They were like,
in fact, I think we were driving down the trail when we saw
them. And we're like, is that people? They're like, oh, it's totally people. Had like a little lantern and everything. Anyways.
Yeah.
Is your job to enforce the law? 1,000%. You don't write it, you enforce it. That's your gig. There are going to be city ordinances that you will enforce because there's going to be law enforcement objectives there that are given to you by city management. Because let's say this guy was being a nuisance and he's blaring a bunch of loud music and it's disturbing the public. 100%. Totally get it. No beef with it. But you can't make it up.
Yeah.
I don't like these very gray. You don't know if you got authority, or whatever it is. And then like making it a us versus them thing. It's like either you're taking.
They fully believe they have authority because
right.
no one ever pushes back.
Right. But my frustration's like the taking it personally side of it is like, dude, you're either choosing to take enforcement action or you're not. Because it merits that, right? Like there's no need to get upset about it. It's not egregious. I mean, obviously they didn't.
But
push
also,
it,
like, look it up. Let's look it up and see.
Be educated. Was Reno half points? I don't know if Reno's half points.
Is it?
I don't think they are. Oh.
Hey Reno, we're excited to announce the new Reno PD roller unit. What you know about me? This is going to be a great asset in the downtown region. So much easier to get around on skates. But you're seeing it's going to be great for special events. Being on roller skates, it's allowed to get through crowds a lot faster. We can get through the downtown alleys. We can increase our response to...
This is starting to look like a county unit. I'm hoping. A little star badge, but the patch makes me sus. The colors make me sus.
This is Reno PD, dude. This is...
Damn it.
Should we put the picture of you in your Reno PD
fair.
uniform?
Critical incident.
That's fair. I did send that once.
It'll lower our response time.
It was somehow worse than this.
Times when we get dispatched to calls for service, it makes it really easy for us to get over different obstacles and things that might be in our way. It's a pretty elite unit. We've had a hard time filling all the positions. Many are called, but few are chosen. So we just keep on skating when we're going to catch those guys, and sure can't keep up with these babies. Of course, we couldn't have put this unit together without our fantastic community partner, Roller Kingdom. If you want to train like the elite unit that we are, what are we doing here? There and see them and get some skating practice. You can join our elite ranks. Thanks for watching, Reno. And if you see us skating around downtown, make sure you come and say hi if you can keep up.
I will not. I'll push you over because I know you'll fall and then you can't stand up.
I was
going
to say, and you're not chasing me. You're gonna do 1034 traffic. I'm gonna take points. But I'm gonna give points to media because that was for a business. That wasn't for like a city thing. That was a business thing.
Yeah.
At least they were creative. Oh.
Police department now says their new headquarters.
I just work here.
Headquarters could cost around $140 million. 3 years ago, the price was $80 million. Wait News anchor Taylor Wirtz asked leaders why the price has skyrocketed.
Sounds like government prices.
Yeah. For sure.
Skyrocketed.
Anyone at the Fort Myers Police Department will tell you it's outgrown its building.
We're very fragmented throughout the city. We had a study done a few years ago that really indicated that the agency was too fragmented, should be more together.
That's when they considered renovating the old News Press site for $19 million. Just like everything else these days, the price tag went up and up and up. Now, 6 years later, at a new location on Market and Central Streets, architects say that project will cost nearly $140 million.
The cost of materials just...
I'll be honest, for like a full concrete building, because typically they have to be like storm rated and all that kind of stuff. Because once you're like an emergency service thing, they kind of build these things like tanks. That sounds kind of reasonable. Like even by like pre-2020 standards, like 140 million is not a lot of million for a thing that's going to have a fully like backup generator driven building like as a backup, and likely a sally port and a jail that's like all steel construction. Like that's a kind of expensive building.
That is a big difference though. I wonder why.
That is weird.
I wonder why. Like I wonder what the reasoning was for the first price,
right?
Or how they got that first price.
I bet someone made that price to win the bid and then got the bid and was like, oh, just kidding, it's gone up. I bet.
Maybe.
This has risen, in a lot of cases, 30+%. The original project was somewhat of a remodel in addition.
Oh,
this is a scrape the land from the dirt up.
You're having to make a foundation, plumbing, all that.
That
electrical.
makes way more sense.
Yeah.
But FMPD Captain Roger Valdivia believes it will be well worth the price to have all its services under one roof.
When you could provide more efficient police services, that can only equal to reduced crime.
As for the cost,
that's not exactly true, but it sounds good.
Taxpayers will help.
Several sources, and a majority of it will probably through bonds.
Valdivia told me additions like an on-site gun range are becoming a need, not a want.
Anytime we do any kind of training with guns that involves guns, obviously that's one of our highest liability areas. We want to make sure our officers can shoot properly.
Mayor Anderson says you can't put a price on safety.
That would be nice.
Works, Wink News.
Now, FMPD.
I mean, I don't think you need an on-site range to make sure your officers can shoot properly. But
I don't know how you wouldn't be able to just get like an outdoor to like carve you out a piece. That happens in a lot of places where there's some outdoor range and they just say, hey, this will be for PD. Super simple.
Yeah.
And not expensive. It's like a berm. It's kind of hot probably, but I mean, your job's kind of hot.
It's gonna be hot.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Shooting.
Bro, were you part of the group? Yeah, you would have had to have been. It was like when it was cold.
Horrible.
It was like 20 degrees outside, which
worst.
made it like 10 degrees inside of our range. And it's 10 degrees with the suction. So it's like a full value wind going down. And I remember we would shoot, and then after we'd holster, we'd hold our gun, like holster.
Yeah.
It was the only thing warming our hands.
Because it was warm.
Dude, that sucked. Because we didn't have cold gear. And we weren't allowed to wear our own stuff because we were at that point where we had to be in uniform. Like that was like the policy. Bro, when uniform code kind of
unicorns.
I'm gonna blame this one. We're gonna take this one from society. This is what y'all get for being sleazy subcontractors. I'm gonna take some points there. There's somebody doing some sus stuff.
Also, it kind of sounds like admin is trying to get some extra money in there.
Somebody decided to give them an apple pie with some money in it, and they're like, hey, if you happen to get a bigger project, like I can make it worth your while. That's how that stuff goes. What is this?
At 3:45 p.m. on a Friday, officers at the airport responded to a woman refusing to exit a plane. These are the events that followed.
Of course, it's Spirit.
Me? What's up, boss? Hey, how's everything? She's still not compliant. Okay, and you don't want her flying at all, not even if she moves her seat? Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to have her come up here. Yes. She's in 13. She's supposed to sit in this seat. She don't want to go. Well, now the captain says no. It doesn't matter. She want to get up. So can you ask her to come up here, please? She's not gonna come. She's not gonna come. She said you have to drive.
So, I'm assuming where this conversation is going to go is this is a private institution, right? This is their business, which is putting butts in seats here. They have the right to refuse service. And if they need to, they will get law enforcement involved to forcibly remove you. That's pretty straightforward.
Unless you be back with her here.
I don't know why he's not going with her. So she's going to ask the lady to leave. Just for the sake of the report. Especially if I'm going to have to use force here, which it sounds like you're gonna. I would like to... Bro, look at this guy. He's here for the show.
Yeah, I would be too. But also, I'd be so pissed. That
Oh, because you know they're going to deboard the plane for that.
I hope they don't. But I would be so pissed. That's why I hate flying. It's one of the many reasons I hate flying.
How are you? Deputy Soto.
I'm grieving.
I'll tell you what, these Spirit seats look kind of decent, though. Like, I've been on a couple planes in the last couple years, and these don't look half bad.
I'm trying to get to a funeral.
I'm sorry.
Today.
Okay, ma'am. I'm sorry
This poor
about
guy.
that. But now...
I'm sitting in my assigned seat.
No, you're supposed to be at 37E.
No.
Ma'am.
You think I would make this up? You think I would hold everybody
It's right
up?
here.
It's also right here.
That's a screenshot, ma'am.
It's the app, view my boarding pass. Why would I make that up? Why would I make that up? It's unspirited spirit. You just don't go waste my time.
It says 13E.
That's where I am.
Okay, give me a minute. Let me see your phone. Listen,
No,
I'm trying to help you.
Are you?
Yes,
Because isn't everyone else seen it?
I can't get respectful.
I understand that, but I've been so
I'm trying to help you.
disrespected.
Let me show you
I'm just trying to get
I
to
understand.
Chicago
Right now,
funeral
this is it.
tonight.
But this is it.
Yeah, that'll go well.
Going to Chicago. Oh, Juan's here.
What's up?
Oh, I got to move my thing. Hold on. Juan, you foobarred our face
I
place.
foobarred it.
Better learn to sling some rock.
Bro, the sound bites that came out of last week were very out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But to sling some rock. Okay, fixed.
Working all day.
Fixed.
I don't work
You're
the
not-
spirit.
I know that.
I'm
you're
tired.
Okay.
I'm trying to be patient. I've lost my zen.
Okay, relax. Just take it down slowly. I'm trying to help you.
She lost her zen?
Okay, let me go over
Yes.
them, but I need to see the phone.
How's she gonna get her nicotine?
I'm not going to take your phone.
I don't know.
Gonna take my
I think she's probably had enough.
Yeah. So here in this specific instance, like, I don't see where going back and forth and confirming that she's in the wrong seat or not in the wrong seat, because that's irrelevant. If the people on the plane, the employees on the plane don't want you on there, they're given the discretion to do as such. Doesn't matter if it's a policy thing or whatever. They have the authority to do it. You take them from the plane.
So Lisa said she saw this a couple months ago, and the airline was having a software problem, and rather than admit that they might be wrong and that she probably was in the right seat, they just decided to go this route.
Right. But I mean, like, they could at least, one, if there's an available seat, just take it. Right? Like, as long as it's available, right? And let's say they screw up
I
your seat or
agree.
whatever. But, like, at the same time,
I
like,
agree, but I don't love
I'm with you.
A company who fucked up using police as like their enforcement.
She's got the spirit.
Also, what if you paid for that seat? Because this happened to that one lady who, it was a social media scandal, which she didn't get kicked off the plane. But where like the mom wanted to sit with her kid, but this lady had paid for the upgrade for her seat, and she said no, and then got shamed everywhere for it. Like, no, you paid for your seat, keep your seat.
Right. In general,
Also,
this is
like,
why I'm
for-
not a fan of flying, just in general, because
If
I've
this
kind of
is
said
Spirit,
that.
who gives a crap?
Right. What'd you sign up for?
Yeah, like all these seats suck anyway.
I will never fly Spirit.
Yeah. But fly Spirit, not fly Spirit, whatever. At the end of the day, it's like an Uber, but in the air, and it's expensive, and you have to go through TSA and let people touch you and take off your shoes, or sometimes don't take off your shoes. It just depends on how they're feeling that day. But you don't own this plane. You don't even own the seat that you're in. You're renting it temporarily. So, if you're
Shoes are
discretion,
only
be advised.
dangerous on Mondays and Wednesdays, Josh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when.
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
people
I have
go
to
in.
fly in a couple weeks. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, tell me. You go in Spirit?
No. I only fly American.
I'm pretty lucky. My boss is pretty adamant about like American. I always say we kind of gamble with our life on United every once in a while. I got a Delta flight the other day, and it was actually pretty nice. I was pretty impressed with Delta.
I'll
Good
do
stuff about
Delta.
Delta.
If, yeah, I'll do Delta if American isn't the right price or the right time.
Flying sucks.
Southwest betrayed me. They took away my bags.
Bro, Southwest for sure.
The free bags.
Yeah.
Just like to have my body camera. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Let me see what
I'm
I
not
can do.
from Florida.
You can't do
Let me see
anything.
what I can do. Okay.
Your
If
job
you're
is to
correct,
enforce the
then
law.
everything should be fine. Because everything is here saying that you're on 30, you're supposed to be 37E. So I don't know what the mix-up is.
They mixed it up.
Give me 1 minute.
They need to fix.
Let me see.
That's not
That's
my-
the app, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Let me talk.
Hey, whoa. With the sheriff's office here, what are we doing? Or is this the sheriff's office just showing up to be helpful? Is this like airport PD? And the sheriff's office just chilling?
They're the extraction team.
I don't know.
Huh.
Hey, sir. I know it's on her app, though.
Yeah, but if she refreshed, she would have seen receipt.
A screenshot. Okay.
That's a dumb requirement.
She opened it up for me, so show me how.
Yeah, let me show you this.
Let me see.
My boy's
glad
pretty
we're-
brave with this iPhone.
Yeah, right there.
This is pretty brave.
He's got the little cheap cover on it.
Yeah, but tell her to refresh.
Yeah, no.
But I do love them showing all her credit cards on Bodycam.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Open up the app. This is your Apple. This is on your Apple Wallet. You open up your app. It's going to show you.
OnlyCops being Rich McGee over here. No, Josh and I have to fly for work.
I don't want to get on these planes. I am
Give me
made
a
to go
break,
on these
dude.
planes. I think the last flight I actually paid and got on was my honeymoon. That was like
Mine was
almost 8 years ago.
Oh, I guess I did.
I don't
fly
fly ever.
once.
Yeah, if I don't have to.
That was it. Yeah, I haven't.
I do
paid
to
for a
visit
flight
family
a
in
long
Mexico.
time.
But dude, I now I'm
You
probably
fly?
flying.
I thought you drove.
Well, it depends. It depends what we're going for and how long.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to have the car to drive around, but if we're going for like
Yeah.
5 days, it
Might as well just.
sometimes isn't worth it. Yeah. Also depends on the like. Sometimes it's like $700. Sometimes it's like $1,200. So it depends.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
It changes a lot, dude. It's cheaper to go to like Cabo or Cancun,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
or freaking
I
wherever than
believe
just
it.
to go to freaking regular Chihuahua.
Yeah.
And I get on the American Eagle planes, which are like American but tiny.
Smaller ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 2 in 1. Like it's like 2 seats and then one. It's like they're like
Yep.
tubes basically.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like you and 40 other people.
Yeah.
Dog.
It's like
Praying-
a private jet for
praying.
me and all of my stranger friends.
You want to talk about turbulence?
It's a bus in the sky. I love it.
Yeah.
It's not our issue.
This is the app.
Okay, and what's the app say?
View my boarding pass.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna skip through some of this.
What's
I
it
already
say?
know how I feel about this.
I'll run across. If I give up my seat, and then
This is already out of. It's already done.
folks from the flight deck.
My boy trying to be cool. Shout out to old boy here. He's like,
He just
"Dog,
wants to leave,
I'm
dude.
just trying to get off with this damn plane.
Here they go.
Are we deboarding?
Yep.
This is cancer. I'll be honest. It's public transportation. I'm not leaving my stuff. I'll trust y'all.
No way. Nope.
On a Spirit Airlines airplane? I ain't leaving nothing. Yeah, see, they got it. They know what's up.
Bro.
Oh, really? We're no date.
You got somebody emotionally disturbed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're fucking up everybody's day, but it's so
Stand
funny.
up and walk off. You can rebook. 3, 2. If not, you're going to jail.
Oh, you stand up and walk off. You get the rebook. That'd be me, dog. I'm just trying to go. You're going to miss a family member's funeral over a clerical error on your
To be fair, I
card.
would have just moved seats.
Yeah.
But I would have been pissed.
I'd have complained for sure. I'd just been like, okay,
Yeah.
I just want everybody's name that's telling me I have to move. I'm going to move. I just want all this information and I want all this documented because I fully intend to complain. Like,
And
what
give
the
me
hell?
a copy of my fine print
Right.
because you're gonna pay me out.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, don't be missing funerals for stuff like that. I've had family members that
Yeah,
have died and I
to
haven't
sit
gotten to
here
go.
and make this
right
turn into this big of a thing, like, come on. There's other hills to die on.
Yeah.
This ain't it.
There's a video. It didn't make it because for some odd reason it got taken down. Where basically a guy gets pulled over for tint, and this sheriff's deputy insists on IDing the passenger. And I'm like, you don't have the passenger on any offense, so no.
Yeah, nothing.
And boyfriend's like, hell no, you're not identifying her. And even then she's like, hell no. I'm like, that was the hill she was willing to die on. And I was like, you go, girl. Like, you don't have, and it was, I just call him ew, but it's got the little, wolf face. I don't remember what this YouTube channel is called, but they have he had a good breakdown of it, but there's no case law that's going to support the passenger having to ID himself.
Like EU Bodycam or
something like that, yeah.
EU.
But it's really good. It was really good. I really like, he brings up case law every single time. He'll bring up circuit case law over the jurisdiction that's calls happening in. Does a good job with dispositions.
Yes, Spirit is all economy.
At
least it's not Ryanair.
A video just reacted this week. We will get to it on Thursday if I don't get to it today, because I have to wake up at like 6 tomorrow. So we'll see if we get through what I got today.
Yeah,
Iwu, yes, Iwu is it?
I'm gonna stay for like one more.
Okay, so the lady refuses.
I'm a tired boy.
Oh, but doesn't resist.
My YouTube died. That was passive resistance.
Yeah.
I mean, she did get up, so not really even passive. Explore with us. Wow, I never would have thought that's what that's.
Thank you, Dad.
That's so crazy. Getting arrested for that.
She was charged with disorderly conduct and trespassing.
Yeah.
She was fined and banned from flying with Spirit Airlines for the next 5 years.
Oh, only 5 years. Wow.
Oh, darn.
Than's for watching. Be sure to
I
subscribe.
can't fly on a shitty airline.
Shit, like she's gonna want to go back. I'm assuming this is municipal because it's there. He tried to de-escalate, which I can appreciate.
Sheriff's deputies.
The sheriff's deputies were the ones that arrested him. It was a different agency altogether. I'll give some points to sheriffs. I'll give him 5. She didn't fight. They didn't make anything bigger out of it. They tried to de-escalate. We're going to take some from...
Suspects.
Yeah, we'll do suspects for being petty. Dumb. That's a big way. For everyone that had to deport that plane. And then they have to rearrange the takeoff schedule because you're not ready in time. And now the tower's getting irritated and... It's a bad time.
Hope you didn't have a connecting flight because you ain't making it.
Kidding.
Imagine your app gets updated while you're waiting to reboard, and now you're in the wrong seat, and it all repeats. It's like Groundhog Day.
It's never ending. That flight still hasn't left.
It's still there.
Mm-hmm. It is empty.
We're 50 days into this hostage situation with Spirit Airlines at a connecting flight to Chicago.
They're arresting one person at a time.
It's an SCP somewhere.
Yeah.
Up, boys. They are ready to do something.
3 years later, she comes back on. It's still the same flight.
It's the exact same people. Everyone's got long beards and is withered, and
everybody's just coming back one at a time.
The kids are adults now.
Ban expired.
We did this to ourselves. Toronto police catches a failed thing from New York. Interesting.
They're looking at the windows.
If it was failed, then there's
the
no crime.
suspects tried but failed to break into the store.
That was a poop and a half. Golly. I'm going to get that one. About to sling some rock.
The suspects tried but failed to break into the store.
Boom!
And that is when police moved in. We get more on this story from Karen Lieberman.
How'd you like to be that other car, though?
The video is remarkable. It shows the moment police managed to take down a group of suspects they say were trying to break into this jewelry store here in North York. They were armed with sledgehammers, and we've learned it's not the first time this has happened.
They are masked up, boys. They are ready to do something. They're looking around. They're looking at the windows.
Police are in the air and on the ground. They've been watching these suspects as part of a stolen vehicle investigation and followed them here from Vaughan.
Smashing in the window with a hammer. Stand by, stand by.
If we find people that are loading up into a stolen vehicle, if they have masks.
This hat is so goofy.
Bro, middle of the day. That's
kind of
like
brave.
Super ballsy.
And gloves.
Also, I
Very
think it's
often
North York, not New York.
Oh, North York.
Regional Police.
I see the little maple leaf. The boot.
Know that they're gonna.
Oh, this looks like it's like no like old school video cameras, no tablets, and no
Only digital.
no Claymore mines. This is kind of what this looks like. I realize it's like a DSLR, but it's kind of the right shape, you know.
No Claymore.
Only digital camcorders, no other recording devices.
You're like, this one's not pictured.
It's like an old film camera, right?
Yep, the hand crank style.
Yeah.
Other offenses.
They were
The flash
5 kids here.
Bro, look at this jewelry store. Oh my god.
Oh, I have one of those up here, Bill. Actually, the ones that go. Yeah. It doesn't have a bulb though, because I couldn't find one.
Dude, this is
best.
This is intense.
And
It looks like Martin Scorsese.
He kind of does. They're cousins at least.
But the store's owner had already taken precautions. He says this wasn't the first time they'd been targeted.
So the very first time they came in, our sliding doors at that time did open, and they came in with sledgehammers. They spread out, the 5 of them, and started smashing cases, scooping up what they could as quickly as they could, and within literally under 1 minute, they were in and out.
Last Friday, the doors were secured and the would-be thieves couldn't get in. Video from York Regional Police shows the group return to the vehicle.
And that's when you can see that our holdup unit is moving in. We always take that car out of play as quickly as possible because that's the most dangerous thing for both our investigators as well as.
You hear that?
Oh, he needs to slow down.
Oh, the ambulance.
We take the car out of it, bro. And this is coming from Canada. I didn't hear their soundbite, but I'm sure it was inappropriate.
It was pretty good.
But this is really how I think police as a whole should treat suspects that are potentially going to flee in a vehicle. Take that vehicle out of the equation as soon as you possibly can, because here's where all the fatalities happen, both for officers and for suspects. High-speed chases are crazy dangerous. Would you rather... You're not wrong, though. But, like, would you rather subject an officer to a 20-mile-per-hour car accident and do the payout for, I don't know,
And to be
couple
fair,
grand?
in that truck, you probably barely felt that hit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Compared to this poor
Like the
little car.
truck barely moved, and the sedan slid, 5 feet into that other car.
Yeah. And, like, yeah, you'll have to probably pay out a claim here and pay out a claim here, but the likelihood of fatality happens here is incredibly low. Even a serious injury is incredibly low. And if you're going to have a shootout...
That's assuming they don't have insurance. If they have
Right.
insurance,
Right.
that's their problem now.
But, like, if this turns into a shootout, let it happen here. Not on a highway, not in a school, not in an apartment complex. Like, let it happen here.
Yeah.
But excellent, dude. Hey, I guess what are the Toronto? Is that state?
It's York.
So it's
it was
York.
Police
It's a
Department.
region of some kind.
Regional?
It was York
Are those
Regional
Fed
Police, I think.
boys?
I would guess more like state.
No, well, they didn't say RCMP, so it wouldn't be Fed boys. So yeah, I'd say
Right.
we're gonna
No,
give it
it's
state
probably
boys.
state. Yeah, because they don't have
I'd say
states.
more
They
like
have,
state.
like,
If it's regional, to me, that seems like it would be.
That's state.
yeah, they
by
have
our
like city
standards.
states or something.
Yeah.
That's a stolen car. It's the owner's problem, Shannon.
Promises.
To be fair, though, what's nice about that is that claim likely can't be held against you. There's going to be some sort of, it probably depends on the state and your policy and all that other stuff, but they're not going to look as unfavorably on that because somebody stole your car,
Dude.
As long as you reported it stolen.
I just now got my freaking deductible back from the accident in Vegas.
No way. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot your rental car got hit.
Yeah, they charged that dude $3,500 for the damage. They charged his insurance. I guess, but yeah, and then I got my deductible reimbursed.
Okay, Bill, you're leaving?
I want to watch this one.
Okay, we're staying for this.
And then I'm leaving.
Nick's got a great idea that involves an airsoft gun and a blunt knife, and I'm not really sure why we're in a jiu-jitsu gym. What are we doing today?
Today we're going to test the 21-foot rule as far as, all the FUDs that are like, if a guy with a knife gets within 21 feet of you, There's no way that you can pull your gun to shoot him before he gets to you and murders you to death. So we're going to see. We're going to test it out with an unknife trained person.
So just as important as the 21-foot rule, we're demonstrating right here the mass rule, right? These guys are almost identical in height. This is if I'm sitting there, like you're like a high school coach, right? And everybody's at the tryouts. You're like, damn, we really need a fullback. You don't even skim this guy. You're like, this is my boy here, you know?
Bro, that's
imagine,
probably
like my boy's a solid.
I bet that's a 75 to 100 pound difference in weight right there.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Depending on what the big fella's lower body looks like.
And that's not a dig on old boy. God blessed him with a good metabolism and sleight of frame, right? But my boy here, they got some Viking in his blood.
He gets it in.
This is not the guy you pick a fight with. There is some phys. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You just see a broad human being, and you're like, I'm a little less motivated to fight this person.
Person such as myself, and then we brought in a knife expert, Reagan, who's been doing knife fighting stuff for what, 20 years.
He looks too happy. He'd kill you with his bare hands for sure.
Oh yeah.
You remember Charlie? The scariest, like 50-year-old man I'd ever met. I recently talked to a police chief that knew him. He was there when Charlie got over that training academy.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, that dude was wild. Like that guy was a wild man. He like worked with him in the street. He was like, oh yeah, it's not a guy I'd fuck with.
Was crazy
yeah, he was like, dude, he was small. He goes, but I never saw that man lose a fight. He never needed our help.
10 years of experience at that, so we're going to see if the guy holding the knife matters, and then we're going to see what level of training you actually need to be able to shoot somebody with a knife. We're going to go with somebody with very little training, like Calvin. Then we'll go with somebody with intermediate training, such as myself, and then we'll step it all the way up to this guy over here.
The local
see if he can
autist.
shoot you before you can stab him.
You know, I'm not going to lie, I was feeling pretty damn confident until I came into here and...
That's why he's skinny. He's the best shooter.
Oh, dude, see, that's what I'm saying. Now he has the force mold. Smith and Lesson made him equal. Okay, like all that size difference doesn't matter if you got the glickety glock.
It's just a bigger target at that.
Exactly.
His hitbox is smaller.
Exactly. His hitbox.
A little airsoft box here. Just CO2 in it. We're not running BBs because we don't want to fuck up the mats, or to be honest, and still want to get shot by an airsoft gun.
This is obviously
Soft.
a training knife, super blunt. It's like a 1/4 inch thick, so nobody's going to get cut. Allegedly.
It's still gonna hurt.
I think we just take
That's
it
still
from the
gonna
top
hurt.
and work
That
our
would
way
hurt,
down
yeah.
to see if you can
Unless
stop
it's like
him with a knife,
foam.
and then if you can stop him, we step it down.
It
to
doesn't
me,
look
and
like
then if I
foam.
can stop him, we'll step it down to Calvin, just to see what it looks like.
Look at them toes. No, do not look at these.
I have a conspiracy theory. The more f***ed up your feet are, the better you are at jiu-jitsu. Every black belt I know, it's just like...
Millennial?
It's like
Millennial? It's cauliflower feet.
Yep. It's a whole subcategory on Feet Finder.
I mean,
you're not getting shot.
the tiny bit of jujitsu that we did, my toes always hurt.
Yeah, it's true.
Like my feet always hurt, and we didn't even do anything crazy.
I felt like I was slowly becoming Tarzan. You know what I mean?
My head, it was like 10 feet. Yeah,
Millennial said it's accurate.
I was like, there's
He said
no
accurate.
fucking way you're clearing that before I shoot you.
Okay, but like realistically,
Nice raptor.
like you're being caught off guard, right?
You're right, Nick. We do need to simulate adrenaline, which is why I brought the cocaine. I really considered bringing like powerlifting smelling salts
cocaine.
on to like hit whoever's shooting with the smelling salts as soon as the guy starts running, just to simulate adrenaline.
I don't know how this got licensed by Glock, but it's got like a safety inside of the trigger, so you accidentally put it on safety when you reach for the trigger. Oh, we're starting with that guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna step it down because I have confidence that you're gonna stop it.
Oh yeah. Now, to be fair, though he did get a shot off, the likelihood that that's from him, the likelihood that it is an incapacitating shot's pretty high. This guy
From him,
yeah, I was gonna say I've seen this guy shoot. He's perfectly capable of putting in A-zone hits. This is gonna be your aorta or your face, which is rather incapacitating. The problem with this test is that they're not showing kind of where the hit markers would be. You get hit in the leg. You get hit in the shoulder, even like in your stomach. You're getting stabbed.
If you're on enough meth,
junk,
right, and
or,
you take a round to the face, you're not gonna you're probably gonna die,
right?
But like,
you probably
you
might
also,
yeah,
you might also get one in.
Yeah, I don't know. Though with this guy, I'll give him a little bit of leeway, only because I know how competent of a shooter this guy is.
stand over here and then wait for the sound. Yeah. Oh.
I'll yell knife like I'm your partner as soon as he goes to move.
Okay.
I feel like he ran slower that time.
Lower for that drop. Dude, that happens so fast. You are like standing there looking at 21 foot. Like, you got that all day. That happens fast. Should we like close the gap to see where our confidence level is here? When I'm paying attention.
Well, that's a sub. What?
That's crazy.
Okay, no, the normal. Okay, also conversely, this is from appendix, and with a only level 1 retention holsters. It's just friction holding this gun in. A level 2 holster is going to slow that time down a lot. A level 3.
Yep.
Good luck. I was just recently trying. Is this Safariland level 3 holster? The best I could do was 2 seconds to actually get a hit. And this,
And
mind
that's
you,
assuming that you're training.
yeah, this is someone who shoots all
Your
the time.
draw.
I get paid to shoot all the time, and to get a good A zone hit at 15 yards took me easily 2 seconds. And this is with old 1911 and a red dot. This goes down with irons and whatever. Everything kind of gets slow after that.
A bit easier, but like, if for a split second I look away, I'm fucked. Put your phone in your hands. Oh, there we go. You're texting.
Oh, wrecked. Yeah, you're dead.
And your initial reaction to hearing footsteps isn't going to be pull your gun. It's who the fuck is that? What do they want? Like, right now I know when I'm pulling my gun. Do 21 foot, your phone.
Right to jail. No
Right to jail. Barely.
I don't know.
I think he's dead. I think this guy's dead.
I feel like the guy's not moving that fast.
No. Also, I will say, so the other thing that he's kind of doing is as soon as he gets shot, he stops all his momentum. Like he plants his
Like, that
feet,
doesn't make
which is
sense.
not what's going to happen. You're going to get sliced.
Heard it here first. Face is pretty incapacitating.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends on
this guy. I know him as the fat electrician, and that's not a dig on him. That's the channel he has. I actually really like his history.
Well, that's what it says in the
documentaries.
title.
Oh, is that really what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, right there.
I love his
Somebody that
documentaries.
shot tens
I
of
think they're
thousands
awesome.
of rounds in their life and not last a month.
Now stop.
That was beautiful.
The other problem is you're ahead on the OODA loop here, so you're not needing to observe to know you're in danger. So you're observing, orienting, deciding, and reacting, or whatever it is. Like you're getting a head start on that in this type of test.
They should do like a conversation, just like a conversation, and the dude with the knife gets to decide when he charges.
The other thing too, and I got made fun of for this in a training class, and I refused to deviate from it. Is his ready position is down near his waist. We were actually pretty good about this, and I actually like this. In an officer setting, I'm likely holding something or doing something. So I actually make my ready starting position above my shoulders, as if I'm holding my hands out or I'm doing something, and then I have to go and develop a grip. You're just kind of, if you're already pre-staged there, pulling up your shirt's easier, putting your hand on your gun's less movement. Even on an open carry holster, this is easier given the ready position he's in.
Oh, not ready. Oh, not ready. You might just smoke
Is the BB gun loaded, or is it just? Okay, I was gonna say that would suck for this dude.
Sketchy scenario.
He keeps closing his eyes.
Happy, even if landing shots, you still get a knife.
See, I'm playing the long game though. To make myself look good, I think you do it first, so he's tired by the time you get to
All right, now get off the phone.
See, on that one, he stopped before it even.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he sees the gun, he slows down.
Yeah.
That's in this game. Calvin,
how much pistol training do you have?
I'm pretty sure we've filmed all the pistol experience in all documentary videos we've done. All documentary. Maybe 100 rounds ever, probably.
Probably close to that.
I mean, I've never taken
100 rounds ever.
Drawings for your pistol, or is it all just like basics of shooting?
It depends on the class. Like, you're doing like an actual carry class, they're gonna show you like the.
Oh, they're going to show him how to do this without hurting himself.
I mean, if that's all you get to hold.
That's hilarious.
I understand what they're doing, but like this isn't
You were born 9 hours ago.
practical.
Okay. Do they have a
It's like they know
discussion
it's
portion?
coming.
Yeah.
My theory was.
So generally speaking, just because I don't want to watch them do 1,000 reps of this, the 21-foot rule was discussed back in 2017 to 2018 when Bill and I were still in academy. It's still discussed in a lot of use of force circles. The 21-foot rule is what I would consider a guideline. The use of force decision on when somebody is a deadly threat to you with a knife is going to have to be articulated by that officer, because somebody could be 5 feet from me but behind a steel door,
right?
Yeah. Or the other side of the fence.
I also feel
whatever,
like
and
it's different in a law enforcement setting, because if someone has like a blade weapon, right,
you're already out.
You have your gun out.
Yeah.
So like if they're trying to apply that to like some dude's random encounter with a meth head that tries to stab, like it's very different. I don't know.
I'm going to give some points to media. At least they had the discussion, which I think is actually because this is probably more designed for the civilian mind anyways. They're doing it from appendix, so it's like more of a civilian setting.
Like a self-defense.
Yeah, if somebody brings a knife up, run first, because distance is your friend. They have to stab you, right?
What do you?
And while you're running,
you can make that 28 feet real quick.
Right, and then you can continue to shoot at them, and you can literally kite them in real life. For you gamers out there, like there is a way to do that in a way that's going to be a little more safe. The problem with reps like that is it's teaching the officer to go just lay down on your back and shoot the guy because it's buying you a couple of extra seconds. It's like, oh, now the guy you didn't kill with bullets is now mounted on you and stabbing you. Like, good job. Kind of the same thing too. A lot of police training is teaching to plant your feet and shoot, which you should do, or at least slow down and shoot. The problem is with an edged weapon, I would rather take my chances running because it's going to buy me 2, 3, 5, 15 seconds worth of time to make that decision. So like turn your hips and run and then see if you can deal with it from there. Now, if there's like a school bus full of kids behind you, okay, well, that's different. But that's kind of
use the bus.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
throw the kids in the way, right? But
boop them.
Generally speaking,
I just don't want to lose my gun.
Right. The exercise of discussing this is good, I think, for making it reasonable as to why an edge weapon is dangerous, but a little unreasonable because there's too many other factors involved to just say, well, 21 feet, screw it, I shot him. It's like, well, like your justification needs to be more specific than that.
Also, are you eyeballing 21 feet?
Right.
Because
if they pull out the tape measure and it was 30 or 50, and in stress, it could be that big of a difference. Under stress, he could be 5 feet away from you and you think he's 20, which is way worse. So, I think that Bobcat, it would take a lot more than $100 to get Donut on any stream, anywhere,
unless it's with his buddies.
Yeah, no.
And then he would show up. He wouldn't say anything. He'd probably give a wave to the camera, and then he would just log off and take all the money.
Log off.
So hard pass for me. I'll miss that stream if that ever happens.
Thick Thigh Hunter. That's why we express that. If it's 21.5 feet. It doesn't make him safe. I would argue the same thing if this guy had just thrown a knife at somebody
you're
and produced another knife.
21.5.
40 feet, whatever. Smoke that guy. Like, it just depends, right?
Bro, you know what I could do with an extra half foot?
Bro. Work. Bill, you leaving?
Yeah.
We will see.
I think that's a good place for me.
That's a good clip to end it on.
You coming in on Thursday?
It's 50-50 right now.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna have internet on Thursday.
I will I will be doing an after party on Thursday for those of you that care.
Yeah, I definitely won't be there for an after party, but I'm also going another time zone away, so this gets
wild.
An hour earlier for me.
Yeah.
Well, not sleepier, but like it's gonna be hard to get here on time.
Yeah.
It's
It'll be
already
like
hard
5.
at the time, and it's 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're gonna be in such a pretty place
we'll
at least. It'll be a nice change of
hope.
scenery.
It'd be fucking better than this place.
You going to Area 52?
Yes.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah. Area 52.
It's a step up.
Very exciting.
So much better.
All right, Bill. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye, chat. Donut is a podcast guest of very few words. Donut shouldn't have a podcast or be a guest on anyone's. The dude's a douchebag. So, bye.
Bill has spoken. Oh, I almost did that perfectly. Hold on.
Oh, you almost timed it.
Hold on. I'm just gonna fix the last second of this. My feelings on the matter of podcast and us going on podcast or having guests is most of it. This is such an incredibly specific topic that requires a lot of conscious thought, and we try not to have opinions. We try to observe things academically. I do think we'll do it here coming soon. We have a couple people we're already discussing doing collabs with. But like in the same way that I stay in my lane, right? I'm not over here trying to like disseminate medical advice to people and stuff like that. I'm like, in the context of law enforcement, here's what you should do. There's some part of it, depending on how far away you are from this. And even for me is a big reason why, like on the back end, I started taking training again, and I'm looking to reserve. It's like, I want to stay in contact with this enough that I can give a good, strong opinion, and know that it's informed with the most current training and the most current SOPs and stuff. Cause it's going to be different. It's different now than heck, the stupid test I got to take is different than the one I took in 2018. And so it's important.
Yeah. And we've had bad luck with collabs on this channel.
Had a few bad ones.
Y'all have not liked them.
Yeah. Trying to keep y'all happy. If everybody that's here, drop a like. I do love you all.
Oh, I remember. I posted this one. I think the music's fine 'cause it's just like weird guitar going. But it's not necessary.
Bro, what a
It's just a lot of it's a lot of European.
I don't even know that happened.
I don't either. Roads maybe wet.
No, dog. Under braking like that, or like just not. How?
I wonder if it's know what? Have you ever seen the video
like a blind
of
roundabout?
There's like a tunnel that exists where it's like the most accidents out of anywhere in the country.
Maybe.
Where like they have to put up a bunch of signage, but even still, people like come out and literally at the end of the tunnel after this turn, it's just an intersection, and so people blaze through the tunnel, come out, and immediately get T-boned. That's what this feels like.
This first one I kind of forgive. That second one, I just feel like
that one's dumb. Why even have the lights at this point?
What a bad time. I'm gonna take this from Fish Cops. I'm going to avoid municipals taking another hit. We're doing so bad. I'm going to take that one from Fish Cops. It's close enough. It's French. They don't count. Pit. I should call.
Call all three of them, apparently.
Oh, my God.
Just stack them like pancakes.
That broke me. Hold on. Just going to do that right there. Gotta pin that one. I should call him.
County wants to try a 17-year-old with a dangerous stash of weapons in his bedroom as an adult.
Oh, why is this like?
I don't know. It's like
Ramsey County wants to try a 17-year-old with a dangerous stash of weapons in his bedroom.
I wonder if it was a problem with the video originally.
This comes as the county moves closer to help teens before they end up in situations like this. Jay Coles first told you about this effort a year ago, and Jay's here now with us to tell us where it stands. Jay.
Yeah, Lindsay, it's an ambitious plan to help these kids that's been in the making for 2 years. Ramsey County leaders closed Boys Totem Town, you'll remember, and since then, there's been a significant rise in juvenile crime. And they believe this modified but new approach to juvenile crime will work. 10 illegal and potential.
Rate that stash.
Oh, this is a Chris Vector Extendo mag in a Glock. Sin. This is a regular Glock. This has got something goofy on it. This is in like an ergo grip with an Extendo. Like a foregrip? That's probably exactly what that is.
Like a PVC tube.
This is actually kind of a half decent AK here. It's like a crank, like it's short. But this is a legit like steel mag. I'm not upset about the AK. These are kind of gross, but I'm gonna give this setup as a whole. Honestly, for the streets, it's like a 6 out of 10, dog. Like a 6 or a 7. This is not bad. Mostly what's saving them is the Draco.
Is that an OG Like Xbox controller? What is that?
I was thinking an Xbox One. That's what that looks like.
Yeah.
But this isn't too egregious. They're really into this like ergo grip though. It's kind of weird. But they got a light. They're not running dots, but I'm assuming they're on that kind of, training schedule.
You don't need dots if you don't look where you're shooting.
That's true.
Potentially dangerous weapons. Evidence photos show.
Oh, they got a switch on this one. Oh, this is
Baller.
kind of a cringy. I don't know what this is.
Multiple pistols.
Timu special.
Oh, dog, this might be 5.56. Oh, or 5.45. That would be cool. Okay, I'm a little more impressed with their setup here now. This AK was cooler than I thought.
Ghost guns and a switch that turns them into machine guns.
This does have a foregrip. Bro, my boy's over here with an AOW, dog. What an animal. Now, what's weird, though, is why wouldn't he put the Glock switch on the gun with the vertical grip? This makes
You're asking for too much logic here.
I'm taking points actually now. Hold on, where's suspects? This is for
Maybe he's just holding
trying
him for his friends.
for trying to be drippy, but not actually being drippy. The AK wasn't too bad, but
Also, yeah, why is the extended mag not on the switch gun?
right.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Done. Dumb.
Dangerous because of the amount of firepower that we did get out of that house.
Investigators watched the suspect's movement by surveillance.
Y'all are soft. Bro, the amount of times I was like, dog, you rocking a high power and like an Arsenal AK. Like, what is going on here? I don't know. I was talking to somebody about this, about being like a cop in Texas versus a cop somewhere else. And they said that they looked at us like we were like cowboys. And I thought about it and I was like, I guess you're right. Like randomly, like our version of redneck and our version of, it's kind of like Louisiana, just in the South, I think, as a whole. It's like very well armed and also like funded. The economy down here is good enough that like ignorant people can afford like a really nice, I'm going to be really specific here, Lincoln Navigator with armor plating in it and a Draco. You're like, whoa, dog. They're doing pretty good. The only people I look up to is Mexican police that aren't getting paid off. Those guys are G's. Or those guys from Brazil that were in that favela. Those guys are out there.
Oh, dude,
winning.
the favela guys were wild.
Those guys were out there.
Also, I want to call this out real quick. What the hell's on his left screen? And I looked that up. That is not appropriate for work. What he's got. Can you confirm that men #American?
Whoa. I wonder if this is a honeypot account.
It's definitely an Instagram account of
oh, I bet this is
a special kind of actress.
So we used, weirdly enough, this is probably evidence for the case. So we used,
sure, yeah, totally.
You ready?
Totally believe you. Yeah, Josh.
If you happen to be
some
a gangbanger, right, and you happen to be a young man that likes female attention, and a random lady that speaks perfect English starts messaging you, and she's prettier than any girl you've ever talked to ever, and she's very into Xbox and very into your Glock switch and very impressed with your $1,000 in cash and ones, she might be a cop.
Well, this one pretends to be a teacher, so there
it's
you go.
Literally perfect. It like goes into the fantasy of this young man that they entrapped.
This might be so it could be. You're saying it would be a cop, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because there's very few posts here.
So what they do?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So what they'll do is they'll get a cop,
like catfish,
a female cop, to volunteer to do this, and make an account and everything. Yeah.
Do we get to give points to fish cops? Because it's a cop fish.
You know what? One, I would give points to media. That's pretty solid. And then we'll give points to fish cops for once. That's pretty good. But that's probably exactly what this is. Though it's sussy-wussy, and I'm sure you looked it up and it was sussy. This is probably what they used to get location information so that they could actually get the warrant. They basically encourage them to self-snitch. He's like, oh, you're into guns? Show me your guns. And they're like, oh, it's in my mom's drawer. You know, whatever it is. And you're like, cool. So warrant's going to write for 3 pistols and an AK. And $20,000 in cash.
I love drugs in an amount to distribute.
Right. Do you happen to put them in little baggies? I really like knowing the weight. Can you have a scale available for me?
Yeah, do you have a
there?
scale? Can you put a scale for scale?
Before making the arrest, Ramsey County deputies seizing weapons from the...
Oh, no. This is a sin. This is one of them like KCI double stack mag. Oh, and a Crimson Trace. Okay, I'm taking points away now.
bedroom of a 17-year-old.
The firepower getting in the hands of kids under the age of 18, 21 with that amount of firepower.
Dude, drug money.
Switches,
be buying you stuff.
Non-registered guns. Extremely lucky. Lucky we got all those safely off the streets for the community.
I'll be honest. The likelihood that these all function properly is probably about 20%.
Ramsey County has a plan to reach kids like this before they commit violent crimes. The county received $10 million last year from the state. To do what? They want to open as many as 7 residential
To pay kids to not do crime.
Than 5 kids in each place. At that time, County Attorney John Choi told me the idea is to provide personalized treatment while the kids are still in a strictly controlled setting.
Intensive therapeutic interventions, mental health interventions in a residential setting here in our own community, not in greater Minnesota, and where the door is locked.
County Commissioner Rena Moran says it includes follow-up treatment plans with parents.
We have had parents, mothers, kind of like screaming at us, saying, help me. Help me help my children to be the best that they can be.
And the sheriff's office is all on board.
We need a secure facility or a secure home for these kids to attend to get the help and the therapy and the guidance that they need to succeed in life.
This is the first plan I haven't hated. I do think going to a house versus going to like a therapist building is probably a little bit better. You're locating it where it's likely needed. So transportation is likely not as complicated. The only optimistic thing that they're missing here is that of where you're putting it, the likelihood that that thing is the target of crime is pretty high. You also need some very brave counselors and some very brave social workers that are willing to go work there. But if you can keep the place safe and have some level of anonymity and then really just offer services, mostly like getting people IDs, getting people the federal funding that they needed, getting them into diversion programs, that I could see this being valuable. I just think that what frustrates me is that they're getting more money to go do it, and they're not asking anything from the schools who kind of created this problem in the first place. They're not getting any money. Like they're not looking at funding everywhere else. We're like, well, I gave them money to fix this problem, and they didn't do anything about it. So let's, instead of making it more of a tax burden, you just simply cut it from a program that clearly has given poor results and then push it to something that's maybe a little bit more actionable. Because even just having an army of social workers, like legitimately, you pay people, get them the training, get them the protection. I really liked RCMP was doing it with their mental health like duos, where you had a licensed practicing nurse that had a background in mental health that was going out and doing these follow-ups with police security, because this is in sketchy places, right? And their objective wasn't to do interdiction. Their objective wasn't to go try to like write tickets or anything. They're just trying to prevent long-term victimization or long-term like recidivism here, where the kids are going to crime because they're bored or acting out or whatever. There's some value there, but likely there's some political motivation, unfortunately, like everything. But shout out to them for trying.
So Detective Shannon here went on a deep dive into
I'm here.
Our Harmony's content. She said that is not a fish account. Juan double checked. There's a link to a main account, which has 239,000 followers. Cops were just bored.
Oh, so Shannon. Now, conversely, the other thing I've seen is to where they agree to release images. So if they're like friends of the department is the best way I could describe this. You see this a lot with human trafficking. So we're trying to entice like a John, or we're trying to entice someone that is, for those of you that are fans of Ready or Not, know exactly the kind of institution I'm talking about, where they recruit for new talent. These are whether they're pornography agencies or whatever it's going to be. And so you might not readily have available some exploitative looking lady, unless I guess was it Dallas PD or was it New York PD that had that lady twerking in that video? I don't remember who it was. But unless you're them, you don't have this just readily available for you. They have reached out, or conversely, old girl was hooked up for a DWI in that city, and they're like, look, we'll offer you the diversionary program, but we need you to do some community service. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but there has been times where we have to get creative on trying to figure out how to, I hate that I have to use this word, but penetrate these organizations. So that, because a lot of times it's hard. They pay their taxes. They have accountants. All of their cars are registered. They hire people with good credit scores. The problem is that the base,
they fly to Romania to avoid justice,
right? Stuff like that, right? At the end of the day, people that were enslaving people pre-Civil War paid taxes and stuff like that. Just because they're on the up and up everywhere else doesn't mean they're not exploiting somebody. It's a lot of these podcasts that you'll see where they'll like let OnlyFans girls on there just to yell at them and call them stupid or whatever. I'm like, I'm not saying you're wrong on any of these specific talking points, but you're exploiting them for their following and the clickbait they're going to get. And I'm sure there's some reciprocal thing for that, but the whole thing makes me hate society as a whole. It's a big waste of time. These guys are doing something. Shout out to that county for trying. You need to chill.
Several people are suing the Kansas Highway Patrol over a tactic known as the Kansas two-step. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Jalen Banks. The lawsuit claims the tactic is when troopers find a reason to make a traffic stop. Then, as the trooper heads back to the patrol car, they take a couple of steps and then return to interact with the driver again. The lawsuit contends the procedure buys time to continue seeking incriminating information and to get a drug-sniffing dog to the location, even if the trooper lacks reasonable suspicion. The ACLU of Kansas says troopers use it to target out-of-state motorists coming from places where marijuana is legal.
That was kind of short.
That was super short.
Whoa, this kind of got spicy. I'll leave this one
I
here.
guess we'll watch that next.
I'll leave this one here for now. I've complained about delaying a traffic stop to get a drug sniffing dog. Specifically for marijuana. Marijuana's, again, my batting average for smelling marijuana and finding it was incredibly good because it is not that hard to notice. So you shouldn't need a drug sniffing dog for that. I can see for harder drugs, meth, you're not going to smell. You shouldn't be smelling meth. Heroin, you're not going to smell. I don't know what cocaine smells like because I've never smelled cocaine.
Well, you got to hold it up real close to your nose to really get it good.
So I don't know what any of that smells like. So you're not developed. You're going to have to look for paraphernalia or go search incident to arrest on something different to find those type of drugs. And that's kind of what they're getting drug sniffing dogs for. But there's a lot of case law on how long a traffic stop should take, which is a reasonable amount of time. The ACLU in general, I think it's like 50-50 on the hills they choose to kind of get on. There's some that are great, and I think that they've done generally some good on moving and really from a constitutional protection standpoint, they're like, hey, this law is violating the Constitution. And like, again, I can't tell you how many people we watch here was like, dog, fight that in court. This is BS. But again, that costs money. That requires attorneys. That requires all this stuff that most people just simply don't have. And so organizations like that, same thing with like U.S. Law Shield and stuff like that. You have a collection of people that have either made themselves a nonprofit or have found a way to pay for legal representation to combat the state. I'm all for it. On this one in particular, maybe the constituency there wants that, or they have a complaint with their state troopers and they feel like they're being wronged for that, then maybe. They didn't actually show any specific instances where it happened, and a lot of it's in the gray. The traffic stop took 15 minutes and the dog got there. That's not an unreasonable amount of time for a stop. You know, the dog's like, whatever, I'm just going to sniff the car because I can, and got a hit. And as long as that dog's hits are relatively reliable, maybe you don't have cocaine in your car and you don't have to worry about it, right? But if they're like hitting on every single car and searching every single car, it'd be really easy to show abuse on that. And so it's just like with the DWIs in Tennessee where they had like hundreds coming back with 0 BAC. You're like, dog, what are you doing? Like I said, organizations like that tend to be a mixed bag.
So also, what if it's, I mean, if it's a very consistent pattern of basically you conclude your existing traffic stop, you don't really have anything else.
Right.
You do your little heading back to your car, and then it's like a very consistent pattern of, oh, I'm going to pretend like I forgot something, go back and then start a fishing expedition.
Right. Yeah. And that I totally buy. Like if that's the case, then make your arguments legally. Cause I do think that that's bullshit.
I think
you didn't
probably
develop
during discovery, you would find very easily where that's being encouraged by your department.
Yeah. And that wouldn't
More
be
than
hard.
likely that's coming from admin.
Yeah.
Or in training or during FTO.
And if you're seeing it and it's a pattern, that should be addressed. You would sit there and basically put pressure on them and say, hey, I'll pressure your state to restrict your funding if you don't make a general order that says you cannot do that. You will not be conducting traffic stops like that because you're unnecessarily extending this, or you're like suspiciously developing reasonable suspicion afterwards. About USCCA specifically, the reason I didn't mention them in particular was I do feel really crappy about any company that's going to make you pay for a service that they then choose not to provide. USCCA is in pretty hot water for that. I have paid for 2 separate. When I was a police officer, it was TMPA, and then there was like a service as it was a subset of that. So as a police officer, if I needed legal representation, I didn't want my department doing it. I wanted my own attorney and all that other stuff because they could have my best interest in mind. You'd pay into it. If you're a police officer, you get into an OIS, just like I would advise anybody else to do. You shut up and you let your attorney show up and say, hey, this is the situation I was in. I'm going to go get, waterboarded for the next 3 hours until I go and write a statement. I would advise the same thing for a civilian. I have personally used U.S. Law Shield, which is different. I carry a gun every day. And so that is kind of like car insurance. That is something I probably take into mind. But I'm also the type of person that carries a tourniquet every day and other medical equipment. So like I as someone with training and the capability of doing it. But yeah, USCCA, they have some demons to exercise before I'd recommend that to anybody.
So I found an update on that case. I guess it was an older case because there has been a ruling on it. So a federal judge orders Kansas Highway Patrol to stop the two-step and other unconstitutional practices. So there was actually like training material specifically
to do that.
Yeah,
that's a big
KHP
no-no.
had training materials.
That's a big no-no.
They also had a previous ruling that they refused to like integrate into that was along similar lines that they didn't integrate for another 4 years. Until they were again
the big no-no
reminded.
And an easy example of this is, so we used to arrest for any amount of usable, as long as it was a usable amount of weed, right, is what they wanted. And as long as it was usable amount, they would take it. Well, Dallas County and Tarrant County, I was in Tarrant County. Dallas County was the first one to do it. They said, I don't want to see it unless it was something wild. It was like 2 ounces. Which is for anyone that knows anything about marijuana, I'm not trying to teach you kids bad lessons, but 2 ounces of a organic substance that's basically like the leaves in your, it's a little heavier than that or denser than that, but basically just imagine yard leaves. How much yard leaves do you need before it equals 2 ounces? Like a lot. And so I just remember being shocked. I was like, it was really rare. I'd ever find they would sell this oftentimes at like half an ounce or less, a tenth of an ounce. Because that was enough to be a usable amount. And I don't remember where Tarrant County fell on that, but they said you will not arrest somebody for less than X amount of marijuana. Even though by state statute it was illegal, they said you will not do it. At the county level, that's not even the state level. That is the county telling us that. And I said, yes, sir. Josh out here outing himself. He's like, 2 ounces is a lot. Either a cop or a pothead. One of the two. God bless you if you know. But anyways, so they told us, hey, this is the legal restriction we're going to put on that enforcement. And we conformed. It was literally just a memo sent out to us. You will not arrest for less than, it was like half an ounce or a whole ounce or whatever. And we said, okay. It was that fast. There was no retraining. There was no nothing. And if you asked a sergeant and a sergeant showed up, you'd be like, weigh it. Yeah, you'd weigh it, and it's like 1/10 of an ounce. And they're like, paraphernalia. Seize it, destroy it. We're not doing that. Because if not, it's unconstitutional. Shit matters.
Also, KHP had to pay $2.3 million.
Yeah, get wrecked. Good.
Because of that.
Oh, hold on. Where's shout out to...
Yeah, take out state boys. They be stopping too many things on the highway.
Stopping too many things.
Literally stopping everything.
Stopping everything. Even without PC.
No, holding them too long.
Holding too long and they ain't got PC.
And consensual encounters.
There you go.
That should be... that reminds me of the... what was it? The Craigslist thing?
Yeah.
I forget what it was called. But that should be a thing. It's like police and people, just consensual encounters.
Dude, no kidding. So I kept the EWU. I just moved it because it's a little spicier. I just moved it to the end. We're gonna watch it still. Don't worry. I'm a reserve in Arkansas in a small city. What's going on, brother? So he knows. He was like, dog, 2 ounces is a lot. He knows. They've got some intent with smaller than... Yeah, dude, if you can get... As long as I saw a scale... oftentimes too, if I saw like 3 cell phones in the car, I'd be like, what the fuck are these? Multiple cell phones, a scale, baggies. And then oftentimes too, I would like, depending on the time of day where we would find them idling. A lot of these happen. It was just like, hey dude, you're parked somewhere you're not supposed to be. The second you got up to the car, it would like reek of weed. And he was like, oh, he was sitting waiting for buyers to show up.
I'm just meal prepping, bro.
Right. And we would try to get them.
And
a lot of times we would lurk these parking lots because by 3 o'clock they were shootings. Because somebody would eventually try to rob them because they would see that they had, 4 ounces of weed. And you're like, dog, that's a lot of money. If you can sell that for 1/10 of an ounce at a time for like 20, 40, 50 bucks at a piece, like, dog. Especially some stupid college kid that'll pay that kind of money.
Someone do the math on that.
Dude. And you're getting it for free. Well, whatever it costs you to shoot the guy, but the math for free.
Chain reaction crash in a busy Akron neighborhood. The driver at fault, an Akron police officer in a cruiser.
Somebody hit 4 cars on the street, and my car was one of the cars.
An investigation revealed the officer violated department policy. But he's not paying the victims for the damage done to their cars, and neither is the city.
If cops smashed into the cars, I feel like the cops should just be paying right now.
That was policy where we were at. You could hit a police car, and the city paid for the accident. Happened all the time. All the time.
News 5's Bob Jones first told us about this in October. He's following through tonight with new video from inside the cruiser showing what happened and the frustration that lingers 3 months later.
Cruiser video from last October captured the chaos in Highland.
Sorry, I paused it. Going
Square.
Going code, mind you. What's up?
2 Akron police officers going at a high rate of speed on West
cooking.
Market Street on their way to a burglary call. The officer behind the wheel swerves to avoid a car making a U-turn and then
way too fast for conditions. Like entirely too fast.
smashes into a parked car.
Going so lucky.
23. He's got a signal 8 on car.
The impact injured the officers and set off a chain reaction crash, damaging 3 other parked cars, including Stephen Rockich's Mazda.
I could not believe my eyes, man. I was just like, what the heck?
Stephen's car, which was paid off, now totaled and without...
Bro, and it was paid off?
I'd be so pissed.
I'd be mad, dog. Okay.
I gotta get a car payment?
I'm team... Sussy Zach Galifianakis, whoever this is.
Personal collision insurance. He was stuck with the bills on top of the aggravation.
The towing.
Did you say tax Galifianakis?
Tats.
Oh, I thought you said tax. I was like, what?
I had to pay out of pocket was over $600, and then my car was worth over $5,000. So that's all out the window, just smashed.
Investigations revealed the officer was at fault and was responding with overhead lights, but didn't activate sirens.
Stupid.
Intersection at all.
Stupid. Why are you 2.5 code? You're code 3 or you're not. If the lights are on and your car is moving, your siren should be on. I'll never understand doing that. Why wouldn't you leave them on?
That stationary object came out of nowhere.
That's crazy. Bro, I'm taking 20. That pisses me off.
Until that other car was spotted making.
Why this upsets me is we trusted you. We gave you the badge. We're paying your money, right? I was in the exact same position. If this was my wife and she was in the car and she's got life-altering injuries because you're a dickhead and don't want to clear an intersection, or just click the thing over one more half inch so your siren's on so we know, hey, whoa, there's a police car coming. Well, that police car is not going to make that intersection. You know? Dog. No excuse. I'm talking we'd be fired for that at my department.
Also super lucky he didn't hit all those pedestrians.
Dude.
Making a U-turn. The city says the officer violated policy and is in the pre-disciplinary process.
You can't just, slap on the wrist, oh, bad job. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
That's not enough.
Stephen expected the city would pay for the damages to his car, but
I'm just blown away.
He hasn't received a penny.
And they said that they're not going to pay anything for what just happened because it's full immunity.
In a statement from the mayor's office, Akron confirms the city's insurance provider has denied claims in this incident based on immunity. The statement also says, however, the conversations internally remain ongoing and the matter is still open.
You know when qualified immunity ends? When you are not operating your vehicle in a manner prescribed by the state. If you are operating an authorized vehicle from the state and an emergency response, burglaries are an emergency response. That's lights and sirens. You just got to use due regard. It would not be hard to be like, the sirens part of it. It's literally in the TCOL test now. Lights and sirens are required to operate outside of normal. I'm not allowed to speed. I cannot violate. My qualified immunity ends the second I'm not operating the car in an emergency capacity. If I'm just going to a call that's not an emergency call, I have to obey the speed limit. I can be issued a citation.
So you might not know this, but maybe you do. Is the city insurance are they just contracted through Fancy Progressive or whatever?
So
where they're, or is it a state?
Most of the time
thing?
It's a cash bond. So what they'll do is they'll have not like an annuity, but they basically take a collection of money and they'll insure against that deposit. So they'll put $10 million into an account, right? It'll just sit there and accrue money. And then when they have to go pay out for something, again, somebody gets hurt, there's an insurance claim for this type of stuff. Now, regular city insurance, it's like Fancy Progressive or Fancy whatever, because you're in a contract with United or whoever it's going to be for your medical and all that other stuff. But liability insurance is typically a lot more complicated because the accounts would be massive.
Yeah. When I was wondering about it, because for instance, if you're at a personal policy, typically wouldn't cover intentional acts, right? So you swerve to hit somebody,
right?
Your insurance is going to be well, it was intentional, so we're not going to pay for the injured party. Yeah. You have to sue the person, not the insurance company. So you have to very specifically.
Yeah, these are more of a act of God kind of, because there's wild stuff that has to happen. Hey, we can't not have a payout to get our traffic lights to work again, but nobody's gonna work for free, right? Exxon or whoever it is that's working, or your Encore is gonna come out and be yo dog, I'm not sending texts unless you're willing to pay the bill. And so that's what that policy is typically sat there for. But they anytime you found a city, there has to be, that's my understanding of it at least, that there has to be a set of money set aside, and that's kind of what city managers and all that stuff are doing. Part of that budget is hey, we have to continue to put into this, because for every other employee that we hire, every city building that we allow to exist, because if it catches on fire or something and it hurts the infrastructure that's not specifically liable for those, that's why building code exists. All of that is to reduce liability for that policy, and that's kind of how they end up deriving and designing that. Every region's a little different. Every state's a little different. But it's a security bond. It's more of that than it is a regular, what we're familiar with insurance policy. Yeah, we're going to take that from, I already took it from municipals. I'll take some from admin for being hoes. Alrighty.
Got some misleading information from somebody that said they could ride on this property. That person lied, the cop stopped him, and here's what happened.
How we doing, man?
All right. Do any of y'all have permission to be riding back here?
Yes, sir. He's actually coming up behind us. Well, we apologize for this, guys, if we were inconveniencing y'all at all. We honestly thought we were okay to ride here.
Never, when there's been no trespass.
Well, we were given some misleading information, and we apologize.
Hey, man. Hey. You guys are saying that you have permission to ride back here? You're giving permission? Who gave you permission to?
One of my friends, he brought me out here one time. I thought it was his place, so.
From now on, don't come back out here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Because she's the landowner.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have permission to ride out through here, okay?
Nowhere. I can't believe you're letting them go without any ID on it.
Yes, because they weren't committing a crime until they were knowingly and intentionally doing it, which I can't prove. Yes, I'm letting them go.
What do you mean? Well, man, Milton Police Department's hiring you. Put an application tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, the sass! Oh,
I like him. That's some good snark.
That was
short and sweet.
That was top tier snark.
Don't need a lecture.
But
just a nice quip.
You let me do my job, that'll be wonderful.
These bikers got some.
That's. It wasn't a lecture, so I won't take points. But,
oh hell no, that was perfect.
Yeah, that was. I'll give that back. Probably top tier suspecting. They might have known they weren't supposed to be out there, and didn't. I have no problem with this lady. That's her land. She's allowed to go and get people out of there. They're lucky it was her. And not like Joe Bob that's going to forcibly remove you with a shotgun, or whatever. But that was rather painless for what these normally are. But that was pretty based. I am mad impressed with that guy.
You guys need any help?
Oh, we already saw this one. Dumb. We're getting to the spicy part of the stream. Viewer discretion be advised. Again, we are not here to glorify violence at all. We are just here to observe it and hopefully better educate the public as well as police officers on how to more safely navigate these interactions.
Good evening and welcome to Idaho News 6. I'm Isaiah.
Took points from suspects. I did. I meant to. They're being sus.
Sharp. Tonight we begin with breaking news. As we speak, protesters in Pocatello are demonstrating after police officers shot a 17-year-old autistic male on Saturday evening. The police action came in response to a domestic disturbance between two males and a female that was reported near the 700 block of North Harrison Street. An investigation into the incident is ongoing, but residents in the area have taken to the streets to protest what they consider to be excessive lethal force by the officer on the scene. According to the family, the male victim that was shot several times is currently at Portneuf Medical Center, where he remains in critical condition. Our sister station, Local News 8, has this story. I'd like to warn you, the following footage is highly graphic and viewer discretion is advised.
You can see in the video autistic teenager Victor Perez holding a knife and threatening his mother. His family says he did have behavioral incidents because of his autism and mental and physical handicaps.
What was it, that county I was just talking about recently, that they had like those in-home, or they had like a home people could go to where they could figure out like resources and all that stuff? This is kind of why. Because there's no good solution for this. Like, how did he get the knife to be threatening people?
Neighbors who shot the video said they called police hoping to help the family de-escalate the situation. However, when police arrive, that is...
bro, the family didn't even call.
Damn.
That's whatever.
Not what happened.
So, call text is going to be dude threatening family with knife. I understand the police response here. Probably.
Oh, yeah, they're here.
Yeah, I mean, person with a knife.
Yep, I'm watching from out back.
I understand mom's energy here, but like, unless you dive on this dude, yeah, they're gonna be smoking this kid if he jumps that fence.
Yep, okay, bye.
So, free advice. if you kind of suss out that you're maybe dealing with somebody that's mentally ill, it's a mixed bag. But if you have people that are asking for your help, maybe try to get a briefing here. I'm also probably not showing up and yelling police because you're going to get the attention of the individual that you're probably trying to avoid. Now, if he's hurt somebody already, it's different, and every situation's kind of complicated, right? Generally speaking, you're going to put a line in the sand. So, like, for me, I'd be like, if he crests this fence, he's now a deadly threat to me. While he's encased in this, I feel a little better about it because he's at least got to jump it. Let's see, Superman jumps this thing. It probably also means I'm not going to butt up against it because he can still slash me, right? I'm going to make sure that he's going to have to clearly get over this thing, and then I'm shooting him the second, basically, he's, like I said, cresting it. He's over this thing. All bets are off. We're going to go ahead and smoke this kid because I can't let an armed person with a knife run around threatening to cut people. I understand the family situation, but that's a safety thing. Probably going to articulate that to family. Like, hey, I'm going to work with you guys, but he gets out of that fence, he dies.
Would you also probably be telling them to back up so that you know you don't have just potential victims that make your decision for you?
Right, because if she jumps in there, I have to smoke him now. I can't let him stab you. Like, you're putting me in the position to do it. So I'm with you on that. That's kind of what I mean is, like, scene security is kind of incumbent on you. This is a very mixed bag. Like, this is, again, the officer just got call text. He didn't know anything about, he didn't get to see this fence or the kid's behavior for as long as we got to, right? But it's just food for thought. This is why we do these things, right? But, like, you're going to have a contact officer, which is what I believe you got here, and then you're going to have somebody else that's trying to go and figure out who knows what, right? Like,
if you both arrive at the same time like that, how do you decide who's the contact officer?
So typically when calls get dispatched, they dispatch a primary, right? So it's going to be like, if it's in my beat, I'm dispatched as primary, or you kind of suss it out between the two of you, like what's in my area of operations. Even if dispatch doesn't state it, the less senior might be the one that takes it, right? Or if it's like in your area of operations, maybe you're familiar. I've said it over the radio before, like, hey, I'm in command, or I'm going to take this call, or whatever. You can suss that out before you make scene, but also typically just the more senior tends to do it if it's like an escalated situation like this. So this is kind of my point. We talk about this, about like how much deadly force do you need, right? I'm not a huge fan of the firing line here while I have like family in the back. They don't have a ton of choice here given the environment. But you'll notice that the kid is just kind of chilling on the ground.
Yep.
And you'll see this is a pretty slow approach, right? He's kind of getting up. This excites him. Now he's excited. That everyone shows up and starts like yelling at him, right? And then he gets excited. That's hard to know. It's a hard bang bang play. You don't know maybe that he's mentally ill. You don't have the backdrop of all these other things, but like putting yourself on the fence robs this guy of about a second, right? I'd probably want to be like on the edge of this sidewalk just to kind of give him that, because he might fall and self pit, and it buys you a little bit of extra time. Special needs or not, they're going to run after you with a knife. You're smoking that guy. This is not going to be considered an unjustified shoot, but I think to avoid having to do this, because they're going to have to know in the back end what the reality was. I had a kid, kid was 6'8". I wish I'd have kept the body cam from this. 6'8", young kid. Mom was coming home. She was a, what was it? Not GM. We had basically like a manufacturing plant there. And the kid saw somewhere on the internet, this is a kid, he's like 18. I'm going to pull a knife and stab you. Somewhere he saw that on YouTube and he thought it was cool, right? And so I didn't realize how special needs he was until I go in there and I'm talking to Mom and he's just kind of being cagey in the corner. And I try to talk to him in a really calm, regular, normal voice. And he turns around and he's like, F you, I'm going to pull a knife. And sure enough, and fortunately he pulled a butter knife. I didn't know that at the time, but he pulled a butter knife. And I went through the whole use of force ladder, right? Immediately reached for my gun, but I knew the kid was special needs. He had the mental capacity of a 6-year-old at 6'8", like 290 pounds with a knife in his hand. go for my gun, think better of that. I was like, I don't really want to smoke a mentally disabled African-American kid in 2020. Would have gone very poorly for me, right? Went to my taser, realized he's wearing, it's in the middle of December, or not December, but it's like the colder month still. Taser's not going to work. I got lucky. I grabbed mom. We all leave the apartment and shut him in. I fortunately had my larger companion with me. He literally held the door shut while the kid was locked in this apartment with his we didn't know they were butter knives, but they were butter knives. And we made an arrest plan, and we said, I'm lethal force. You two guys are going to be hands. We're going to try to take him with just hands, but if this guy gets even a little squirrely, I'm going to be the one that pulls the trigger, mostly because I was the darkest complected person there. But that was the reality of it at the time. Yeah. But we made the arrest plan, and when we got in, he disarmed himself. He had taken the knives and put them on the counter. We went in and arrested him. Very lucky that we did that.
Did y'all pull out the tint meter to?
No, yeah. Yeah, I got this much melanin in your skin. You can do it. But I would have hated had I had to shoot that kid. It kept me up for a while afterwards. And the kid cried and like apologized to us. Cause again, he's like a 6-year-old up here. Right. We had to take him a JPS, the whole 9, but, our tactics saved us there. Cause if not, and he ran at me, he was dying. There was no him getting out of that situation alive. If I didn't shoot him, my partner was going to shoot him because he's not about to watch me get stabbed, butter knife or not, right? This is kind of why we have these discussions. I'm a big what ifs person because I think it makes you a little bit more informed, right? It's kind of like dry firing or playing chess against the computer just for giggles, just to get the reps in of like, hey, if I'm presented with this problem, how do I solve it? You can avoid justified shootings. I'm not saying it's always ideal, but if you can, try to, just for your own sake, like your own rational human mind, right? But I'm also not going to hang these guys out to dry. This is a hard call. A lot of these guys don't get that kind of training or are used to getting these type of calls, right? It's like the what if games they play might be very different than the ones we had to, where this was a very common call that you would get. But just be cognizant. Watch shows like these where we discuss stuff like this so that you can more safely navigate these. But there's going to be a lot of people upset about this and that it's unjustified. But I would argue that we should be upset about how this kid ends up with no safety nets so that he's not just like mentally or intellectually disabled. He's also in acute stress, right? That he has no coping mechanisms for. So he resorted to having to have a knife to go, I don't know, work his feelings out or whatever it is. Like there's more failings than just the cops smoking this kid. But they're going to that's the unfortunate reality of it. You're going to wear the brunt of that responsibility. But that's rough. We'll see what the aftermath of this is.
He was having a really bad day with mental issues, but he wasn't chasing anybody, and everybody could easily get out of the reach of his knife. So this.
Well, funny, we talked about that. I also kind of want to point out that it's just I don't know, shooting somebody with special needs. That's way more.
Also, so according to Thick Thigh Hunter, so this guy, who is the guy who called, right? He said the guy filming, who was a neighbor of the family and knew the kid with special needs, nonverbal, called the police and said there was an intoxicated male chasing a woman and man around the yard. He said he seems pretty drunk. So if you supposedly know that he's having a bad day with mental issues, and then the other article I read was that it said neighbors said he called the police to help the family de-escalate the situation.
If they wanted the help, they would have called.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are times, like, I'll be honest, like, there was times where we on-viewed stuff. We just happened to be there. And it was a family sorting out some issues, right? Exercising some demons. And I showed up, and I was like, bro, it looks a lot like domestic assault. Like, y'all need to chill. Or there was a lot of, we joked, it was like the mind your own business, right? Like calls where people just are more enthusiastic in showing each other how they love each other. And we'd show up because they're weird I guess, more prude neighbors thought that that's not how that goes down. And we're kicking a door on two people that just have a spicy love life. And like, I don't know, or watch weird shows. But in this case, like, he's likely saving some level of face because that call is recorded somewhere. If he just said that the guy was drunk and didn't help the cops and say, hey, by the way, he's special needs, this guy got that kid killed. Oh, hey, police, you know, some kids running around trying to stab my wife versus some guys outside of my door and can't get in is a very different call. Like, it just, I don't know.
This wasn't.
Yo, story time. I have a few of those.
Yeah. So here's the this is the transcript of the call, but I found it ABC 11. It says the 911 caller said, it might not have been this guy, so it's kind of confusing how they wrote it here. It looks like his 19-year-old son was the one that called it.
Right.
While he was recording the video. So it says the 911 caller said an apparently intoxicated man was wielding a kitchen knife and periodically chasing a man and woman in the yard. And this is recorded in the audio. He seems pretty drunk, the caller told the dispatcher. He's just running at them with a knife and falling over. I think he just stabbed himself, actually. It looks like he fell on the ground and kind of passed out. So that's the information that they had when they rolled up on this.
Drunk guy with a knife. That's way worse.
Threatening
right.
a family.
A family, right. So this is how your neighbors get you killed. For real, for real.
A really dangerous situation, and the police were more called to come in and help the family de-escalate and get it under control. And this is the biggest tragedy. I witnessed it, and it was really tough on me and my son to watch that.
And know that I contributed to it by not giving good information.
And I just want to send out my deepest sympathies to the
because I'm pretty much the only reason why your kid got killed.
Family. And
I'm editorializing.
We were trying to help you. We weren't trying to bring a firing squad down to Harrison Street.
Well, that's what you did when you said drunk person trying to go stab lady.
He tried to stop him. He was here. He tried to stop the officers. The officers.
Don't you have that shirt, Josh?
They didn't even.
No, but I have a similar one. It's pretty
You have a
close
very
to that.
similar
Yeah, it's
Dragon
very
Ball Z
close to
shirt.
this. Walmart, baby.
Bro, that is based.
They got a pretty cool shirt. I had a couple at Walmart. I have like a Capcom one.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like it's Capsule Corp is what it is. It's Capsule Corp, but it's obviously Dragon Ball Z. But
Said, what's going on? The kid was there. He was already on the floor. He was standing. He was not going after police. He have impairment. He can barely walk. He can barely walk. And people who is around here, they can tell that.
So what?
Victor's aunt tells us that he is fighting for his life in the hospital.
No, today they told me they have to cut his leg, but he's so weak that he might not survive. So we're still here waiting for the doctor to tell us.
So he had, according to the latest reports, leg amputated and permanent brain damage.
Let's take.
They take a lot from society for incredibly bad information.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Because, like, if you're told ahead of people, like ahead of time, and this, I got lucky with the kid that pulled a knife on me. Mom was the one that called. She's like, hey, he's way bigger than I am, and he's just not having it. He's been confrontational with me. I'm nervous he's going to hit me. I don't know what to do. So we showed up, right? But I was told before I got there, this is what saved this kid's life. Guy has the mental capacity of a 6-year-old. Tracking. And then checked out by the end of it. But, like, had I not known that, random large male pulls knife on me inside of a kitchen, he dies. Starting a fund, buy clothes somewhere other than Walmart.
Okay, so in both cases, he was struggling to move and get up. Is the only difference whether or not they live is that they're mentally ill?
Well, the problem is like that doesn't, he could have been injured from an altercation. You just don't have any. That's the problem is they had to make a decision within 20 seconds, maybe less, on what they got. All they know is, and again, it looks like a duck. It quacks like a duck. I got a knife-wielding guy threatening people. He's threatening me now. I get the situation, but at the same time, like the family, had they called, right, would have had better information, and they would have showed up and used and leveraged different tactics, right? Or at least had a chance.
Well, and it's also a case where bad information can be worse than no information.
Right.
If you have no information, maybe you slow it down a little bit. You go,
try to figure it
okay,
out.
he's on the ground. They're kind of far away. You tell them to move. You kind of figure out what you got. Maybe make some space.
Yeah.
You get told drunk guy out of his mind.
Dude, no
threatening
kidding.
family.
No kidding.
Different.
Oh, yes, what Josh said. Keep domestics out of kitchens. It's a good plan. That's a very good plan. Oh, you can hit the State Boys thing. It's ASP too.
Oh, hell yeah. They gonna redeem themselves? That was good timing with the cargo.
Wait, no, Arkansas.
That sheriff county back home coming up.
Tell him to get out of the way, little boy.
Oh, he needs to slow down. Oh, damn.
Is that from that one newscaster lady?
Yes.
You gotta have the
My favorite newscaster lady.
You gotta have the emu all ready for this pit.
Oh.
Traffic's kind of thick right now.
Traffic's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
So thick.
It's thicker than
thick with a double C.
Yeah. Thick with a double C. That lady at the Tuckeria.
Traffic's kind of a torta right now. Traffic's throwing it back.
Traffic is throwing it.
On 40 right now.
Come on, my man. Buxom, stop spending money. Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Buxom, you need to chill.
Pass him on shoulder.
Get out of the way.
No blinker. Pull him over.
I was brave.
Can we put 110 or what?
Sammy almost did the reverse pit. He decided he wanted to keep his CDL. He's like, maybe I don't hit this car.
Yeah.
Am I able to pit at this speed? I got a spot right here.
He got a yes.
Is that 10-4?
Yeah.
Oh, boop. Tactical boop.
Oh, here we go.
Oh. On a bridge, you're an animal.
He cut me off. I wasn't able to get it just then. It's going to be Tennessee tags 450-430. Tennessee 450-430.
Great radio traffic. Where does this guy think he's going?
Might take that. Stand by. No, we're going to stay 40 west.
Ooh.
Stand 40 west.
He's stuck on the phaser siren. It's my least favorite, but the loudest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I got a spot right here.
Yeah, into the Walmart truck.
There it is. There it is. Oh, you had it.
Oh, you have it.
Meow, 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 meow.
Do it, do it, do it.
No, not now. He's gonna.
Aw.
Put him right there. We had traffic.
It's too thick.
Stand 40 west. About to come
It's
up to
too
the
thick.
755, I'll follow behind you.
It's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal with mayo.
Stop. Dare start that.
Oh, a dog. Ooh, sketchy.
That was pretty brave. This suspect gets an A+ on driving. Into the trees.
A67 on up progress. I'm 2 JFK right now, 40 west still. About medium for about 110 right now.
No, not there.
That's a terrible place to pit.
Results matter.
I guess, yeah.
Results matter.
There's your results.
That was the most Ray Lewis pit I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. Yeah, that was an attitude adjuster right there. Hey, they were wearing seatbelts or they would have got ejected. Wow, that was oof. Oh, I was just making sure that wasn't a body. I was like, oh.
Right.
Well, it's done. Okay, no harm, no foul.
Hands! Hands, driver! Hands! Driver, get out of the car! Get out of the car! Hands!
I don't know if those doors are open anymore.
Yeah, they might
Get
not.
out of the car! Hands!
This guy
Oh,
survived.
he got out.
Backwards! Walk backwards, Jimmy!
Primo!
Walk, face away! Walk, get up and walk! Get up! Get up and walk! Walk backwards! Walk backwards! Face away from me! Keep your hands on top of your head and walk
En
backwards!
español.
Walk backwards! Walk backwards! Walk
Caminar
backwards.
aquí.
Keep coming! Clear the car.
Hey, well, easy there, big fella. Okay. Easy there. This trooper's got a mighty fine little uniform. I don't bless the cuffs on the batons, but it's not a great place to put
seeing
cuffs.
that more.
That's weird. I wouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
I don't like it.
It's a good way to lose cuffs. My brother in Christ is here in a t-shirt.
Well, I was gonna call out the sweaty boy on the left.
What are you doing? I guess he's off duty or something.
He's just a bystander. Wanted to help.
Oatmeal and mayo. Hey, chill.
Going smooth as all over here.
Well, there's that. That was a successful pit. I guess I gotta give it to State Boys. State Boys in the highway, pitting everything. They got pit stains. Pit boys on the interstate. That looks like a young Josh on the left. I was much handsome and slimmer when I was younger. Now I'm like the fat electrician. I'm just a thick man.
I can't breathe!
You're just recession proof, Josh.
Bro, I tell you what. That wasn't that first like 2 weeks where everybody dies off. I would just lose weight.
That's right.
I would make
A
it.
Texas man is suing a former Guadalupe County Sheriff's deputy, accusing him of using excessive force during a police stop back in 2021. KXAN investigator Kelly Wiley reports on the details captured on body camera.
Hey, show me your hands!
On the side of Highway 46.
Put your hands up!
In Guadalupe County.
Put your hands up!
Sheriff deputies zero in on 40-year-old Ronald Smith.
Show me your hands!
Body camera.
Now, careful now. This is a, what is it, mentally ill white man or whatever?
Yeah.
This is it's the most dangerous situation for this guy.
A miwum, if you will.
Oh, what?
M-I-W-M. Miwum.
Miwum? Gotta make that.
Mentally ill white man.
Gotta make that a shirt.
Smith sitting outside the Guadalupe Valley Memorial
Certified
Park
miwum.
Stop.
Cemetery when deputies approach with guns drawn.
Go less lethal. Go lethal.
As they surround him, Smith is on the phone with 911 dispatchers.
Lay on your stomach.
Get on your stomach. After less than a minute of verbal commands, Deputy Hunter Sains shoots Smith with a chemical irritant.
He got OC'd and he's bitch, bro. Got paid to get OC'd.
Lay down! Lay down! Lay down!
So the complaint here is going to be, what danger did this guy present to you, right? Now, we don't know if he's armed. Maybe that was in call text, but at the very least, our MeWum, or whatever the heck they're called.
He's crisscross applesauce.
Well, he's not presenting a firearm or a knife or anything like that. He hasn't made any threats of one, right? Not saying he can't have one, because we've totally seen that. But he's sitting, and specifically with his legs crossed, he's going to have to unfold those legs to stand up. There's no fast way for him to get up and get after you, right? I think here's where man catcher might crush, because you just pin him to the ground, which would be great.
But also, what crime do you have to approach him like this? Like, if he's the one that called on himself,
right?
Is this like an NED? What's
so
happening
my
here?
assumption here is it's an emergency
Welfare
detention.
check?
So he's calling, he's sitting, he's outside of he's probably in acute mental stress, right? And I get when you're dealing with a mentally ill or unstable person that you want to be kind of cautious, right? The problem's going to be he's talking to you. He's not giving verbal threats. He's not. We can say sitting Indian style in 2025. Brag. Juan and I can say it. It's fine. It won't get canceled.
I'm married to Choctaw. I can say it.
There it is.
I get the pass.
There it is. I come from Aztec homies, so
Yeah.
Juan's got more of the
Maybe he means
Spaniard
it
side.
like yoga.
Yeah. But anyways, he hasn't done anything typically to use even like a joint lock or something. You're gonna need something more than just passive resistance, which is at best what this guy represents, or verbal non-compliance, right? So this is not assaultive resistance. This isn't even active resistance where he's like running or something wild like that, where maybe you could articulate, or he's like pulling away from you. He's doing none of those things. So the use of OC, though, is kind of soft, right? It's going to be considered excessive in most places, given the, again, no articulable crime outside of potentially an NED, which is not a crime, or an emergency detention. It's not a crime. That is a welfare check. And you haven't even asked the questions to figure that out. Dispatch might have talked to him, but you haven't talked to him. So, but yeah, this is so far, I'm at like -15 so far.
According to an offense report by Deputy Sains, he was initially checking on Smith, who he passed earlier walking along the highway.
That's perfectly lawful.
Sains wrote he began following Smith on foot when he saw him jump a barbed wire fence and start running in a nearby field.
He told me that it was sheer terror.
Attorney Andy Cano is now representing Smith in a federal lawsuit against the officers, alleging excessive force. Cano says the interaction, documented in court filings between Smith and Deputy Sains, actually begins when the deputy nearly hit Smith with his cruiser.
He was nearly hit by this cruiser, and then Smith gave him a hand gesture. And then at that point, Smith noticed periodically as he was walking down the road, a cruiser. The cruiser kept coming back and forth.
Does that male have an open 911 line?
I need help! I need ambulance! 911!
The federal lawsuit alleges Sains and another deputy used excessive force and then worked to assert a bogus criminal charge against Smith.
What was the charge?
The Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office told KXAN, due to pending litigation, it was unable to comment on this matter at this time.
So what you gonna do? Y'all take me to jail?
Attorneys for the deputies seen on video did not respond to KXAN, but said in court records the deputies did not know that Smith was unarmed.
Armed, unarmed, or not, we still have to have a reason to contact this guy. If I pointed a gun at every single person that I knew was armed, it would have been like to the 10th power more people than I pointed a gun at. That's not enough.
And they acted reasonably based on the information they had at the time of the encounter.
Lay on the ground!
Body camera video shows Smith sitting with his legs crossed, with one hand holding his phone up on the speaker and his other hand held up, showing he was not armed and was not, at that point, trying to evade.
No, he was not brandishing a weapon. That does not mean he was not armed. I don't like the way that they portrayed that. There's a lot of people that die to concealed weapons, which is fine. But that means that you approach with caution, not bukkake this guy with OC and go from there.
My thoughts are mixed, actually.
UT law professor Jennifer Lauren has mixed thoughts on what the video shows.
On the one hand, it appeared that the officers had an inclination to reach for some less extreme tools in their training toolbox. On the other hand, it's significant in terms of sort of being contrary to principles of de-escalation that the first point of contact between the police and Mr. Smith, once Mr. Smith was stationary, right, was sort of peak force threatened, right?
What would you...
She said a bunch of nothing. I mean, she didn't say nothing, but like, I can agree to a certain. So if I had to define reasonably and rationally, like what de-escalation means is that we're not immediately jumping to. I don't want to create the circumstances that create an accelerated amount of force, right? And I would like to, when I can, not always, but when I can safely, start with the lowest amount of force possible. Right? That's like the whole design flaw. Because I could jack everybody up that I encounter, right? Guns out and articulate it all I want. And I could just say officer safety. I don't know that this guy's not armed or not. They don't want that because that increases the amount of shootings. That traumatizes people. It traumatizes cops. It desensitizes people to violence, right? We don't want to do that. I would like to start, and let's have it start today on what is it? April 8th of 2025, we're going to start the Scene Safety Initiative. We're trying to make the scene as safe and as injury-free as we possibly can. Not de-escalate, not escalate, not any of that. It is within the bounds and restrictions appointed to us by the Constitution. We're just trying to create a safe scene for everybody involved. I at this point, de-escalation has lost all purpose and meaning. Because the same principle would say that the guy from Parkland did the right thing. Well, I didn't want to upset the guy randomly going around and shooting kids, so I tried to de-escalate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's my only frustration with the situation. Ironically, this is a worse use of force, even though they only OC'd the guy, than the kid that they ended up shooting with a knife. Both might have some level of intellectual disability, but on that one, it was a reasonable fear of serious bodily injury versus this one. Dialysis sussed it out. Josh is watching. Bucks up. I would delete it, but you super chatted, so I can't. I see what he's doing now.
Reason to stop me. The footage shows officers first considered arresting Smith for trespassing.
And then you ran through some random person's property.
That's not
But
trespassing.
after asking neighbors,
They have to be a victim first. You have to have somebody that says, I don't want him here.
found no one wanted to press trespassing
Wrecked.
charges.
You're not being placed under arrest.
The deputies contemplated an emergency detention.
However, you're being placed under emergency detention. You're going to be medically evaluated. That's it, to make sure you're okay.
But in the end, the deputies opted to arrest Smith for evading arrest.
No.
Sir, you're under arrest. Let's walk this way.
Absolutely not.
A charge that was later dismissed.
Yeah.
I won't let you fall, bud. I won't let you fall.
They're Monday morning quarterbacking. Why do we have this guy? What can we charge him with?
Yep.
If you're concerned about someone, it doesn't start with a criminal investigation. It doesn't segue into a criminal investigation. It's, what does this person need? Are they in danger? How can we help them?
The original lawsuit Smith filed was against all three deputies seen in this body camera video and the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office. The claim alleges malicious prosecution, false arrest, and excessive force, Ultimately, court records show a judge dismissed the claims against Guadalupe County and one of the deputies. The court is allowing the excessive force claims against former Deputy Saines and the other deputy you see in the body camera, Deputy Jimmy Gonzalez, to proceed to trial. The legal team for Saines and Gonzalez is currently appealing against that decision.
What a dumb call. I'm going to take 10.
I'm glad they didn't get him with the
Taser Bukkake. This guy. Last three. Drop a like for your Witcher here.
Fire captain, I'm heading to work. I'm aware. Can I let him know?
7 a.m., January 29th. U.S. Marshals surround Chris Burke's vehicle.
I'm not going anywhere. Can I be out of cuffs? No.
The detective tells him he tried contacting Burke on his phone multiple times with no response.
And I got your number, and I have it in my phone in my notes, and I was going to figure out what on earth to do.
Burke, still upset over the weapons being drawn to arrest him, the detective explains they felt it was necessary given Burke's military background.
I'm not doing anything, man. I'm not.
That is not literally exactly as I described it. Like, I am not allowed to say, well, he could have a concealed weapon. And until I know that, I feel unsafe. That is not going to cut it for the threat of deadly force. Because if not, you'd just be shaking everybody down like that. Like, hey, your brake light's out. But you could be armed. Like, no, dog. Come on now. Well, he's got a, Ranger Battalion bumper sticker on him. He failed to yield. Call SWAT. I'm not saying don't take the clue. Like, hey, maybe, I make sure my retention's defeatable with my gun. But like, you don't get to circumvent this guy's constitutional rights just because he's got a background or whatever, or a weird bumper sticker. They still have to present a reasonable fear of serious bodily injury or harm.
Okay. I'm a freaking dude. God, this isn't.
He could have been a dentist or a truck driver. See, Frag gets it. What if he
The
smelled
detective then
fat?
asks Burke if he spent one-on-one time with his students. He responds he does, but has certain rules, like requiring at least one other person being present or leaving the door open.
So I don't get wrongly accused.
Police reports indicate numerous survivors said Burke had them stay after class to do assessments where he sexually abused them at Salt Lake Community College. Others reported he abused them during ride-alongs with the Salt Lake City Fire Department. One report saying
A firefighter.
he tried to keep her in areas of the fire department where they were alone.
I teach how to be an EMS instructor for the state of Utah.
So have easy access to kids.
And
An impressionable
no
youth.
one talks about professionalism more than me.
While in the vehicle, Burke lists off his awards in education, adding he is so close to retirement.
And now it's
more.
going to look like I abused.
I mean, I guess technically it could be retirement.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a kind of retirement.
Yeah, it's a kind of retirement.
I can't be trusted to
Tommy said it's not PD for once. Yeah, at least we get to get off. We get to take points from somebody else.
teach.
Unsure of what to do next.
I'm just asking you as a dude. You're good. What do I do to resolve? I'm a.
Stop being around kids alone. There it is. Easy.
Easy.
We're a second responder. Bro, how did they get to negative 700? What happened?
Wait, what's this?
Second responders? I'll take another 100. That's probably how.
Wasn't it that Walmart incident
That's
where
right,
the cops
dude.
did all the work?
I forgot about that.
And the 12-year-old firefighters just stood around?
I forgot about that. Last one, and then we'll see if we do
Trying to
this
figure out.
under the influence video. We'll see
We
if we
should.
do that.
It was some fun.
Police. Someone shot the police officer. Shot him in the leg, yeah. Holy
You want to call it? It's higher on the car.
On the Venetian. Is this Vegas?
On March 2nd, 2024, at approximately 12:21 p.m., the Miami Police Department received a report of an armed suspect walking eastbound on the Venetian Causeway. This 2.5-mile bridge connects Miami to Miami Beach. In response to the report, officers from both precincts quickly approach the bridge from opposite ends. Unbeknownst to them, their simultaneous arrival will lead to an impending disaster. The following report is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before. On a sunny afternoon in the bustling seaside community, Officer Shanakwa Stringer responds to a 911 call and quickly identifies a suspicious individual who may be armed with a small handgun. The man will later be identified as Cristobal Garcia. According to the official narrative released by the state attorney's office, witnesses directly behind Officer Stringer observed Cristobal reaching into his right pocket and pulling out an unidentified object. Officer Stringer has only seconds to react as she decisively springs into action. However, she's unaware that a crisis is quickly approaching. Officer Stringer advances toward the suspect alone, holding her firearm in her right hand pointed in the direction of Cristobal Garcia. When Cristobal didn't comply with her commands, Officer Stringer grabbed Cristobal Garcia with her left hand while continuing to hold.
Free advice. Take your shot. I think it's Phoner that gets mad when I say that. If you feel the need to point a gun at somebody, you should also not feel the need to grab that person. One thing at a time. Gain compliance or safety before we go hands-on. Guns are not meant for grappling. You got a sword, knock it out, or a knife, knock it out. That's what they're there for. But guns and getting grappled are not a good idea.
Her firearm in her right hand, while Officer Fabio Bolanos approached from the
Oh, this is going to be a blue on blue. Son of a bitch. Had to be my people. This is one of them 30 for 30 females.
Opposite end of the causeway.
11:25 on arrival.
Oh, dude.
Officer Stringer's firearm was resting on Cristobal Garcia's upper back and pointed in the direction of arriving Officer Bolanos. A muffled gunshot echoes along the causeway as a bullet from Officer Stringer's weapon strikes Officer Bolanos, who struggles frantically.
Oh, she knows she messed up.
To regain control of the dangerous situation.
Why'd you do that?
11:42. Start rescue.
It's a fucking.
I got another officer.
Nobody's
shot
doing that to you. Oh, you up in
He's
leg.
still.
You hurt yourself. He's bleeding a lot.
Stop.
Don't worry.
Stop.
Get in my pocket. I'm a cop.
Stop.
I'm an old cop.
Put your hand
Go.
She did great.
Hey, the blood's dripping on me, please.
Put your hand behind your back. Now. Put your hand.
Not gonna lie, I'd be nervous if I was homie. But you just shot your own officer. Like, I don't feel too terribly safe. I'll tell you what, dude. That guy tanked it. Like a champ. He's not even screaming.
Behind your back.
Well, hurry up, because I need a tourniquet.
I know. Hold on.
Cristobal Garcia's claim of being a former police officer could not be verified. However, while he struggles with police officers, witnesses parked directly behind Officer Stringer's patrol vehicle captured the events on their cell phones.
He's bleeding.
How do you see him bleeding?
I think I see him bleeding.
Baby girl, let's act like we've handcuffed somebody before.
Shut the police. I'm gonna shut the police officer.
Holy shit.
As both officers urgently struggle to subdue Cristobal, it's clear that Officer Bolanos requires immediate medical attention. With each passing second, disaster inches closer as his blood slowly spreads along the sidewalk.
Oh, I'm not forcing nothing. 11:25. I've been shot in the left calf. I didn't
rescue on a 3. Hand.
Baby girl, help. Bro, they had to find this video. Man, it's because Keith's not here. Or Keith was like, I'm going to spend time making sure I sift through these videos. And...
Let it go.
I didn't do that.
Let it go.
Come on, baby girl. You got it. I believe in you.
Hey, put a tourniquet on my leg. Put a tourniquet on my leg.
You hit it with an aw? Is that what that was? Oh. Did I hear it?
I didn't do it. I think that was in the video.
I didn't do that.
Let it go.
Hey, put a tourniquet on my leg. Put a tourniquet on my leg.
Oh, it's in there. Our pain's starting to set in now.
I got you, man. I got you. Hey, grab him.
Bro. Baby girl. Baby girl.
More assistance arrives as Officer
Help.
Stringer drags Cristobal away from Officer Bolanos. However,
Still
as
not
the
handcuffed.
situation rapidly escalates,
Baby girl, help! Oh my God.
they're about to encounter an unexpected complication.
Guys, good. We got everybody coming. West Rialto, Venetian. Hey, you need another tourniquet?
Nobody have one? If you carry a firearm in any capacity, in any way, shape, or form, civilian, not a civilian, I don't care if it stays in your house, have at least one tourniquet. Just the one. Or at least know how to make one. Right? Something. If you're a first responder, dog, I don't know. It's too late for me to begin on this pedestal right now. I'm just upsetty spaghetti. That got me messed up today. Oh, let's find it. Oh, it's on my vest. So glad I have that. Hope it's staged.
What do you need?
I got you.
Not staged.
Get the road open for rescue. Work on the road so we can get rescue in and out.
Because of the heavy traffic on the Venetian Causeway, which has narrow 2-lane bridges and a toll plaza, it will
So glad I blocked all this traffic.
be a monumental task to quickly get emergency services in and out of the area.
Yeah, they
So glad y'all are here. You're doing great. You're helping. You're helping. You're helping.
As officers work to apply tourniquets to Officer Bolanos in a desperate attempt to save him, Officer Stringer takes a step back, overwhelmed by the emotional impact of the situation. Even if they succeed in saving Officer Bolanos' life, the consequences of shooting a fellow police officer could be severe.
Should be severe. Not could be. Tommy says, you think these people are staging TQs? This is a bridge too far. Baby girl, take a seat. Take a knee. Take a knee. This is not for you. It's like it never was.
Despite the logistical issue of getting an ambulance to the scene, one of the officers is about to propose a simple solution that could potentially save Officer Bolanos'
Put him out of his misery.
life.
Sir, what do you want?
Dude, it took us that long to get this thing on him. Oh my God.
We got one on him already.
Okay. Free advice so that you do not get your friend's leg amputated. Since we're here, let's discuss it. This is going to help everybody. Let's say this is my arm, right? Let's go ahead and put a tourniquet right here. I'm going to make this watch be a tourniquet. Let's say there's a tourniquet right here. What you don't want to do is put a tourniquet way far away from that, because the problem is there's going to be blood between those two tourniquets. And when blood can't move, do you know what it does? It coagulates, because that's what it's supposed to do. And when it coagulates, let's just
doesn't pop like a balloon.
Let's just say bad things happen, right? You are almost guaranteeing that they have to get that leg amputated if that has to stay on there for any length of time. High and tight. And if there's another one going on, another one goes as high as it could possibly go and as tight as it could possibly go. That's why they make it dumb. Bro, the Marines can figure it out. You can figure it out.
Clear the road!
Yeah, this is a novel idea. Help my brother. He's over here like, dog, I died this way. Bro, let's go. Hey, help him. Please help him.
We gotta wait for rest.
Grab a belt. Grab an arm.
Nah, dying Bill's character, Josh.
Clear. Put him in the car. Drive. Put him in the car. Drive. Got it.
Somebody around for the other side.
Bro.
That guy who's standing around doing nothing could maybe help.
So I was in alert training like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and great training, by the way. Shout out to Tarrant County. They put on a great class for this. And one of the things they talked about was if you're doing nothing, find something to do. Because if it's an emergency situation, there's likely something that even if it's something small, like getting everyone else to leave. Like, hey, dog, we got as many people as we need. Get out of the way. Or clear traffic, something. Start blocking the intersection way down there so we can get this guy to the hospital faster.
Since he's already lost a significant amount of blood, the officer's swift improvisation will undoubtedly give Officer Bolanos a better chance of survival. However, due to the urgent demand for a cell phone, it's evident that he has a different concern on his mind.
Hey, can I borrow your phone so I can call my wife, tell her I'm gonna be all right?
Hey, man. I have given my wife an I love you text just in case I didn't get a chance to tell you today because we knew we were going to do something stupid. Now, I'm lucky I've never been shot or even better, not shot by my own partner. But I don't know why he's bringing this up, but I mean, he's probably like, hey, man, if I can have that phone call, let me have that phone call.
Hello?
I need to listen to this guy talking to his wife. Come on now. Let's not do that.
A critical factor, but every bump in the road causes excruciating pain.
All right? What's your name, bro? Fabio, man. Uncle? Fabio. Fabio, you're good, bro. Yeah, bro. It's just... God damn it. You're good, man. You're good. You'll be all right. Oh. That hurts. You're good, man. You're good.
Even though the officer makes the usual 12-minute drive in under 6 minutes, they're about to face yet another unexpected obstacle.
Hey, bro. Yeah, we're all right, all right?
My brother in Christ is self-rescuing. He's like, I can get myself out of this car. I just need people to save my life. So anybody could have gotten on the radio and told dispatch, hey, I believe they're going to this hospital. Notify that hospital that they have a gunshot wound victim coming in. Because normally they're just waiting there. Every single time, if you're organized and doing your due diligence, nursing staff, ER staff, the doctors, they're just chilling. Because they know you're coming. They got the call. They tone it out. They get the crash cart ready to go, and they're ready to come receive you. This tells me somebody didn't tell the hospital. So don't get too mad at this hospital yet.
Let's go! Let's go!
Thanks to the...
that was barely a delay. Okay, I'm not that mad about it. I get it. The seconds not applying the tourniquet are killing him more than the seconds not them opening the door.
Quick thinking and improvisation of the police officers, the medical staff at the Ryder Trauma Center was able to stabilize Officer Bolanos. However, as police reports and eyewitness footage emerge, this case is poised to take a shocking twist. Cristobal Garcia did not have a firearm of any kind on his person.
So you mean to tell me Cassie here not only falsely identified that this guy was armed, marked out with him and pulled a gun on the guy, and then shot her partner over a non-offense, over a guy walking over a bridge? Maybe I don't go back, dog. If I have to do stream,
Hence the title of the stream,
bro. Is that really what it's called? Maybe I don't go back. I just saw it. Maybe I don't. I did not catch that before. Oh. Just know, okay, 2 hours and 58 minutes into this stream on April 8th of 2025. If this is the way I go, avenge me. In the sense of don't ever let that go. You make police changes happen. If I get smoked by Cassie here.
The item reported to possibly be a small revolver or firearm was in fact a metallic lighter.
What? Sorry.
The Florida State Attorney's Office issued a statement regarding the shooting
Yeah,
incident
her
in a
revolver's a
report
metallic lighter too.
released on January 14th, 2025. An assistant state attorney, detectives, and an internal affairs sergeant conducted an investigation, concluding that the evidence available was insufficient to support any criminal charges against Officer Shanakwa Stringer for the potentially deadly accidental discharge. We reached out to the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, who confirmed that Cristobal Garcia wasn't charged with any crimes in connection with this incident. He was later determined to be a reported missing person out of Collier County, Florida, though we're not able to confirm whether he was reunited with family after this incident.
That's wild.
Now, let's say they're just going that there's no malicious intent, right? That it was an accident, you know, the good old 320 bug got you, although that was a Glock. We're not at least doing like deadly conduct? Or I don't, because it's not like she's got qualified immunity. There was no circumstance in that where the use of force was justified. That's the first one Buxom's done all night that I'm not mad at him for. Let's keep this guy from going back. But like, dog, I don't know how you go back to briefing after that. You know?
Yeah, just take it up.
Like, and even as like an administrator, like, I don't care if we're
Maybe
friends.
she doesn't go back.
Just be like, yo, dog, it was cool. I'm going to let you retire undefeated. I mean, not undefeated, but like.
Definitely not undefeated.
Let's just hang this. This isn't for you, dog. Let's let you ride off into the sunset before this gets any worse.
Mm-hmm.
This is my people, right?
Instead of an honorable discharge, you get an accidental discharge.
Damn. That was good. Where's media? I give media some points. But did we reach our like goal?
I don't know. I told people like half an hour ago that they had 25 to go. I don't know if they listen. We're at 108. Two of y'all need to like the stream. Let's get points.
Well, that's right, too, man. With Cassie, dog.
I sent you a video Christian Halsey sent us.
Okay.
Because he really wants us to watch one of the ones he sent us. I negotiated him down from a 40-minute video.
So, Christian.
To a 12-minute.
Christian, if you're watching, look at me deep in the eyes. There's 200 points for chat up for grabs here. If it was worth my time, I won't take the 200 points. If it wasn't worth my time, I will take 4. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Y'all better get them likes because we're about to take them. You send it to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pulling it now. Okay. Oh, this is not starting off good. The thumbnail is already... Y'all better get ready to lose these points. Christian. Nissan Sentra. Oh, come
PC.
on. Come on.
No, it's been the seat.
Move over. Florida. Move over. You should block traffic for me. Oh, I'm good with this. I actually love this. You know what? Points to suspects. Hold on. I'm here for this pullover here. Dog, give them 20. Oh, I took 20. I took too many. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I've done it all wrong. There it is. I fixed it.
Bad math.
How you doing? I'm doing well. Officer Dino, Coral Springs Police Department. Reason why you're being stopped, you're not wearing your seatbelt, okay? You mind if I... Huh? Yeah, you're wearing it now after I stopped you. You stopped in the middle of the Sir. Okay. I got you. You got your license on?
Yes, sir.
Sir. So you literally just stopped in the middle of the... Literally in the middle lane. Put your seatbelt on and... Okay.
No, sir, I did not.
All right.
I promise you, sir, I did. I wouldn't, sir, if I would have told you the truth.
Gotcha.
I promise.
Reason why we stopped this motorist, we were traveling northbound on University Drive. He's hanging out with his arm out the window, not wearing a seatbelt. I activate my lights. He stops in the middle of the roadway in lane 2 and puts on his seatbelt and stops all traffic. And now he's saying that he had a seatbelt on the whole time. Sir, here's your license, all right? You are getting a citation for not wearing your seatbelt, okay? Also,
I had my seatbelt.
I got you. So let me just explain myself. I was following you. I was in lane 2, right, coming northbound on University. You did not have your seatbelt on, okay? Then I activate my lights here. You literally stopped in the middle intersection to put your seatbelt on. I visibly saw you. Okay. So all right. So 30 days to respond. If you feel that way, take it to court, okay? Drive carefully, please.
Man, listen, come on, man. I don't know what you guys are trying to make.
It's a minute and 40.
No, no quota, sir.
Let's see if he does it. See if we catch him.
10-4. Now he's putting the seatbelt.
Oh, you couldn't see him do it. Done.
Up a seatbelt now. I'm good. Officer Dino, Coral Springs Police Department. 2 reasons why you're being stopped, right? You weren't wearing your seatbelt, and you made an illegal U-turn at 6200 Sample.
Oh, yeah? That's an easy, that's a
there's
layup.
a large sign there, no U-turn.
Okay, there's a medium-sized sign.
You got your license?
It's the aggressive driving team.
Where do you live?
Literally, it's what it says.
I know.
It's pretty much every officer in Texas. At least in DFW, dog.
Why don't you have a Florida license?
Florida license.
How long you lived here?
Lived here.
Under a year. So you're supposed to change it? Huh? No, I know, after 30 days, not after 365. Okay.
They made the light go. I'm proud.
Yeah. Stand up. The reason why I stopped this white Nissan is we were at the red light at 6200 Sample. He was in the turn lane to go left off of Sample Road onto northbound Turtle Creek. Instead, he made the U-turn to go back westbound onto Sample Road, where there's a sign. He's also not wearing a seatbelt. He also has been living here for a year and hasn't changed his license. Sir, here's your license. Listen, you are going to get 1 citation for the illegal U-turn and the other one for not changing your address. I'm not giving you the one for the not wearing your seatbelt. You go about the improper U-turn however you want. The license change.
Another traffic stop. So, Christian, I'm taking 10 per extra traffic stop we have to watch.
How you doing?
On a clip called Traffic Thursdays.
57 over the speed limit in a construction zone, okay? You're going 57.
Oh.
I'm really sorry.
This is exactly what traffic enforcement looks. I was only subjected to having to do this a handful of times. It's such a beating. But it was I was in field training on day shift, and it was the only time I ever worked day shift, and we had to do this, and it was such a beating.
I have an appointment. I was like running low, but I understand. Yeah.
All right, stand by.
I understand nothing.
Reason
I
I
claim
stopped this white Kia. He was traveling westbound on lane 1, going 27 over the speed limit in a construction zone with workers present. Said he was late for an appointment.
So the tire with wings. He's a certified traffic investigator cert. Oh.
I forgot about the tire with wing. We've seen that before.
I've also seen that with motors units, where if you're like a qualified motors officer, you get these. But
all it makes me think of is it's a really bad horror movie about a tire that becomes sentient and becomes a serial killer.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was. But that's all I can think about with this. It's like, oh, it's that tire that was rolling around and killing people.
God.
Got wings.
After I
It's a
did a
sequel.
computer check, it reveals that his license is suspended 2 times.
Wrecked.
So he is going to be getting a citation for the speed, citation for license suspended without
Bro.
knowledge, and I am going to have to take his license. Hey, sir. Unfortunately, I am issuing 2 citations.
Bro.
One for this speed, you're going 27 over in a work zone. How are you? Officer Dino, Coral Springs Police Department. 2 reasons why you're being stopped, right? From 3300 block of University, okay?
3300
right hand, fingers
block.
manipulating the screen the whole entire time, okay? Then you even switch it from your right hand to both hands. Okay, you're also not wearing your seatbelt. Do you have your license on you?
Yes, sir.
The reason why I stopped this motorist, he was crossing over Sample on University. About approximately 1.5 cars behind
wanna
the
get to this
solid
dog eating
white line
thing.
when the light turned red. You have your license? Yes, I have it. Reason why this black guy-
Mac Daddy said the movie is Rubber and it's amazing.
Mac Daddy, don't be blessing this. Someone's gonna watch it. That's gonna be the next movie night movie.
I know.
Traffic is my
Y'all
least
should.
favorite unit on patrol. It's so much. I hated it. We were stopping for speed, so what they would do is they had somebody running a traffic gun, like a LiDAR, and they would run the LiDAR and they would just read out the speed and which car it was, and I just had to stop it for that. It was the worst.
You know what, Josh? We might have to watch. There's a cop car in the thumbnail of the Rubber trailer.
No.
We might need to watch it. Yes.
Okay.
Officers react.
Well, okay, so chat got the light goal, right?
It's literally in a pursuit. It
I
gets
got you.
stopped
Hold
by
on.
the cops.
So I'm gonna take the 200 from Christian for making us watch this body cam.
Sample, the light turned to solid red. I was in lane 1. I
wanted
stopped.
the dog.
You got your license? I can't hear you. Oh, your license is gonna play your brake, right? Reason why I stopped this motorist, he was westbound on Sample Road. He was going 60 and 35 mile per hour zone. Here's your license, sir. Unfortunately, you're getting a citation. You're going 60 and 35. You have 30 days to respond to all the instructions are in here, right? I'm the 40, okay? You have your license? Yes. Reason why I stopped the red Toyota, she was the lone vehicle traveling eastbound on Sample Road from Coral Ridge. She was clocked at 59 miles per hour and 40 mile per hour zone. I'm gonna see if her license is good and cut her brake. Here's your license. I'm gonna
This
give you a
guy's
license,
basically
still warning.
playing Police Simulator.
Because I'm going to work, taking care of patients. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
I know, I'm already late. That's why I was. Thank you so much.
You're
You're
super
welcome.
late
You're
now.
welcome. Have a good day.
Okay, and then chat gets what is it? $110? No, 75 points. So
where was the dog?
I didn't even see it. There's your points, chat. There you go. It's evened out. So Rubber, did you send it to me?
Yes.
Oh God. Okay, we'll watch this and then we'll be done for the evening. I have to wake up super early in the morning. Shout out to Primary Arms. I'm gonna go hang out with their guys tomorrow.
Nice.
Gonna go shoot some pews. Get some more lead poisoning. What'd that dog do though? That daddy, I don't know, dog.
Gonna have to do an officer's react on this movie.
I tell you what, this animation's not horrible. Or this like a practical effect. Oh, this looks like animation.
It's like a stop motion, I think.
Oh, stop motion would be cool. Neat. Father, a little tired. Big games. I'm not gonna lie though, this Caprice goes pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a clue. Pre-attack cues.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, this is what our killer looks like.
Tired.
Classic.
What brand of tire?
Probably brandless.
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 Nice.
Yes.
Is it black?
I'm starting to like it.
Door just open.
Come on, be a good boy. Blow my head off.
Again.
Come on, closer.
You get one of you guys with a flamethrower, just go.
Anybody there? Weirdos.
we watch a lot of weird stuff, like between the after parties and the Discord, and obviously here on Livestream with all you guys. I'm not gonna say it's 2 minutes and 24 seconds I won't get back, but it's 2 minutes and 24 seconds I won't get back.
Maybe we don't go back.
I will. Maybe I don't go back.
Maybe we don't get our 2 minutes and 24 seconds back.
I'll give chat 10.
What's your?
I'm gonna give media 10 just for wasting my time.
What's your arrest plan for the tire, Josh?
So arrest plan on a tire is it's only dangerous if it can roll to get away from you, right? So you would take like either they have a breaching tool. It's literally like a spike, and I would just run the thing through so that it couldn't, like, anytime it'd try to roll away, it would just kind of fall, like it would hit the spike as it went around. And or if you are a city that is equipped with one, you could use a tire lock. And just like you would for like a parked, you'd need a rim for it, but you could probably get away with that.
So the problem with the spike is now you've given it a spike to use as a weapon.
Yeah, but it's like blowing you up with like mind powers, or it like wobbles a bit, and
it depends on how it. I guess it depends on how, because it's jumping clearly because it hit the dude.
Now in this case, we're also thinking about like a Chucky situation where it's just like got supernatural abilities. So I would actually be also considering like a wood chipper or something, like a finely grained.
I mean, they tried the tire fire, that didn't do it.
No, well, no, he saw the tire
I think
fire.
wood chipper would go.
Yeah,
that's true. But that's what that's the motivation.
Right. So that's what got it to
Saves
be a
people.
serial killer, and then
he's the Moses of tires.
Right. But there's like the whole Chucky situation. Like, yeah, I get it supernaturally kind of, but if the lady's able to throw it, you got leverage straight into a food processor, or like straight into the Ninja Foodie or whatever. Like, you just gotta get it in there, use like a spatula or something, and just run it, because then it's just in pieces. It doesn't have anything to get leverage off of. I think kind of the same thing with this guy.
If it's got supernatural powers, does that make it jump up in the use of force?
Oh yeah,
then?
well, because now the
immediately
reasonable the reasonable fear of serious bodily injury, once it's demonstrated, sure, all the way. We're buckshot through the door kind of thing. Like, there's no all of the reasonable force is there. So. Also a fan of teeth. Mac Daddy needs to get off the internet. So I'm gonna turn in early because I gotta get up at like 6 a.m. I gotta wake up here shortly.
Mighty Dork, you get a pin for that.
But
freaking wagon.
I hate y'all. But I will be doing a regular full-time stream on Thursday. We will have an after party on Thursday. And
we're an educational stream, Shannon. Right. That's why we are taking this
way
seriously.
Too serious a tone. Hey, people asked questions. I'm here to answer them. That's
here
the
to
function.
Educate.
If anybody else would like to hang out with us more specifically, you can do so by joining either our Patreon group or our YouTube membership program. And for as little as $1 a month, you get direct access to the Discord, which is where we hang out. We played Phasmophobia the day before yesterday, and it was a blast. The answer was in the trailer. Flame throwing. Yeah, Doug, I like wood chipper. Flames are going to take too long. Now you might have you might have like a Ghost Rider situation where it's not only a sentient tire, it's an on fire sentient tire. It'd be a bad time. Tire lives matter. You need to chill. Oh my God, the Flintstones. But anyways,
that'd be so much more dangerous. Made out of stone,
dude. Yes. But anyways, I love you all. I will see the rest of y'all on Thursday. Oh, boy.
Call SWAT.
Stop.
The T stands for tire.
Yes. Special weapons and tires.